I mean,
It does disappear.
I know that personally.
I got you, boards. I actually got you on that.
I know personally. I have no idea what the hell Blood Hunter is really.
So Blood Hunter is
Think
such a
Van
fair
Helsing-
class
Van
that
Helsing is
more
weird.
often than not, it's included in every single server because it's completely fair and balanced. It really is, actually.
They did just
Okay.
recently change it.
Do me the favor and explain to me what the class is. What's its strong points? What's its weak points? Etc. Etc.
Okay, so the Blood Hunter is kind of like a mix of a class and a race because you are technically part lycanthropy with Blood Hunter. You pick that's
You
basically
can
your
be.
subclasses. You can be part lycanthropy. Yes, sorry.
Okay.
I mean, there's different subclasses where you're not lycanthrope, but I mean,
Yeah, but I know somebody wants
basically.
to.
Have you ever played The Witcher?
Harassing me about it. Look,
Yeah, I have Witcher 3 on my Xbox actually.
Okay, so basically, it's The Witcher.
No, no.
No, it is not. No, it is not. No, it is not.
Okay.
That gives a bad impression. It's similar to The Witcher. It's got the same concept, but it's not The Witcher.
So this is what we'll do. Do a report on it.
Okay, I will do as good a report as I can, but I can promise you now it ain't going to be long. If anything, it's underpowered. It's underpowered. But they did just make some recent changes I've heard through RAD, so I'm going to look at it again and see what I can
Give me a description of strong points in both combat and RP, and tell me more about it. That's about all I need.
Okay. Otherwise, yeah, I can look into that. And then
as for the rest of the reports,
I've put them in. As far as what races I think should be approved for not restricted, I think obviously null because I'm biased as all hell on that. Mouse folk is a little potent. I don't know if it should be restricted or not because you do get weapon proficiencies as a race, which I would perfectly honestly be okay with dropping. There's other things you get as well. It's a little potent. I might call it restricted, but other than that, I've posted everything in my reports. Everything as reported is as reported. So you just gotta graze through it's at the top of the report. So you literally just gotta look at the report and you'll.
I'm going through right now. I'm gonna bring them in to the meeting text, and we're gonna post them one at a time.
Yeah. But the only one that's really changed, and honestly, it's just my opinion of it, is Mousefolk.
What, Bubba?
Because I did post it as restricted. Okay.
You know what? Do me a favor, boys, because it'll be faster for you to do this.
Yeah.
Take each one and put it in meeting text.
Yeah, I'll do it right now. I'll be
right back. I go check this out.
Alright, meeting text. Got that one. Gotta copy and paste this one. Because it was weird. Copy. Download that one. And last but not least, download that one. Okay.
I wanted to bring something up.
Yeah, what's up? Well, he's not here right now, so give him a second.
I know, but I just wanted to bring something up. Couldn't we modify things that we find, like, even if we pass it, it ends up being OP and somebody finds a way around it?
I would say that would be... I mean, I've been modifying classes.
We can actually put a precursor to using any of this stuff. It's like they are subject to change at any time.
Okay, I'm back.
Type of thing.
Did you post it yet?
I see where you're going with it.
I'm
not sure I actually like it.
Alright, you posted it in general, not meeting text, but that's fine.
And I mean, I'm not saying like we're gonna completely remodify it where it's like, ooh, we're gonna.
So Wolfborn.
Just if there is an actual big issue with something, it's subject to be able to be changed.
Following changes. Restricted.
Okay, so I just got punished for posting all that shit. Can I get a unmute?
You're not muted.
I mean, it says anti-spam calm down there, son. Now is not the time or place to stuff. I got a punishment from the bot.
Have all your stuff, man.
I've been working hard. What can I say?
Okay.
No other place.
Yeah. All right. So let's start with the Wolfborn.
Give me a second.
Let's start with the Wolfborn.
Certainly potent in certain subclasses, but others are not. So I modified it pretty heavily, honestly. It used to just give you a cantrip that you could use at any point, and then a resistance to cold damage. I made it a choice between the cantrip you could use, and I added a limit to the cantrip, to be clear. There was no limit beforehand.
Okay.
And it's one or the other, not both.
Okay.
Because both are quite potent. Secondly,
Right,
I added the survival proficiency, which you just got before, to Forest Wolf, because Forest Wolf was heavily underpowered.
Okay.
The last thing I slightly changed the wording in. I'm really confused on the wording on Mask of the Wild. I want to change it, but I have no idea what to change it to.
Where is Mask of the Wild?
It is Forest Wolf, second line. Or second,
Mask of the Wild. You can tell to hide
parentheses.
even when you are lightly obscured by foliage, heavy rain, snow, falling snow, natural
So
phenomenon.
basically, you can hide in light. You can hide
So
in
that's
get what they're going
basically
for, but I want to change the wording.
that's basically the same thing as assassin. Or shadow.
Yes, but you can only do it in nature. Which is
So then I would say lightly obscured by nature. You know what I mean? Rather than foliage or heavy rain, so on and so forth. Or you can even just leave it exactly as that. Because that's more specific.
Wait.
So
Do dead bodies count as nature?
no.
No.
Okay.
Alright, so if you look at the bottom, I had 3 reactions posted just now. Thumbs up means passable, thumbs down means not passable, top hat means restricted. By all means, everyone please vote.
Where was
That does not.
general. Sorry, I made a mistake and
General.
posted in general.
You idiot! Meeting text.
I apologize. I don't know that I want to post all that again because I already got one strike from the bot. I
Welcome,
don't want
Ray.
to get banned.
Welcome, Ray. You are staff, so you have the right to talk, for the record. And you're deafened too. Whatever.
Rad saying something about the shifter, not the Wolfborn. What's that? Rad?
Yeah, I posted the shifter as a part of it. I can post it again if you need me to. But the reaction should be added as part of Wolfborn.
So what's the message 9?
He's upstairs getting close. You okay?
So, but otherwise, the shifter should be fine. It was fairly balanced when I looked at it. It was one of the least broken things I've looked at in a long time that results in like changes in the form, because basically subrate is your changing form, and they're fairly decent. It only usually gives you one or maybe, I think the most I've seen was one benefit. So, either case,
Yeah, the shifter's kind of fair. I've looked at it before.
yeah.
Yeah,
but
I found it to be
as
somewhat
far as
underpowered,
that,
actually.
Applying to Wolfborn, just to be.
I mean, it's more roleplay powerful than combat powerful.
Yeah.
So
It's a
combat
fluffy race.
underpowered, but roleplay, it's actually like really, really fair. You know, for situational stuff.
But are we voting on Shifter or are we voting on Wolfborn? Just to be clear. That's what I was asking.
We are voting on the wolf.
Okay, just making sure. Because the Wolfborn, as much as I like it, I like the idea of it. It could make some real nasty shit. Like, I'm trying to think of combinations.
I still need 2.
Doesn't seem that bad.
I still need 2 more votes.
Mhm.
Well, Ray's not in here, so 1, 2. I need one more person to vote.
I'm currently hooking up a trailer.
Okay, so for the Wolfborn, would you put it as restricted, pass, or deny?
Wolf form is fine.
As far as I'm concerned, yeah, it's a bit potent, but from what I understand, from what you guys just said, there's only one in there that is like just kind of a bit too much. most of the races that we denied had a slew of abilities or just one stupid potent ability. So I would pass it.
I mean, yes, I'm with Logan on that. A lot of them that we have allowed or whatnot, like the giant, half giant bullshit thing, like that. It's,
I mean, we have
how
Eladrin.
strong that thing can be.
We have the Eladrin that have Misty Step.
Yes, and that too.
Right? As a racial ability, goddamn.
Well, with that, the
Like
wolf
some
form
normal
is
races have dumb
passed.
things.
It is allowed for anyone to use.
Switching my
Next
vote
one.
just so I can be on the winning side.
Ah!
No.
This goes down your permanent record boards. You're not allowed to worm your way out.
But yeah, no, that's fine. So it's approved then?
Yes, it is approved.
Okay, I'll add it to the
With the
list right now.
revisions you made.
With the revisions
Yeah, I would
made,
say
okay.
the Wolfborn, it's fine.
Allowed races, there it is. You posted instead of me. I cannot edit that now. Do you want to edit it, O'Flair? And we need to put a link where someone can find this on the internet, so they don't have to just keep looking at Discord over and over and over again, as well as to there. Because these are only changes, we need to update the class and release it somewhere.
Who was the person that put it in?
I reviewed it. Radiston wanted it.
Okay.
This means there's an entry in D&D Beyond that needs to be edited as well.
Hello.
Otherwise, it'll give them both.
So I've been including links to all the homebrew races to certain sites so that they can find the site link, the page, so they know where they're going, essentially. Though it occurs to me that Allfire technically did that. Either way, point being, that should be included. Because if they're looking for a race to play that's homebrew, they should know which site they're going to. And, where this character sheet is. Either we put up a Google Doc that has all the stuff on it, or we just link with the name. I honestly think linking with the name would be easier, but I don't know what has limits and what doesn't and all that other stuff.
I mean, any links you find right now wouldn't have this thing you've made for it since you've made it custom.
That's my point.
What we have to do is make
We'd have to recreate it
your
from scratch,
specifications
and I don't know who else can do that.
We just got to remake D&D Beyond as your specifications and relink that. So it'll take the new page, and it'll be in D&D Beyond. They can use it properly. I don't know if we put Wolfborn in, but they need to axe it. I think I did. Fuck.
All right. Next one. Next one is for what?
It's a couple. Hold on, let me pull it up.
Is it? Well, I mean,
It is for the Dark Arts, and I'm trying to see what the other one. I think it's Dark Arts and Simic Hybrid, but I could be wrong.
Simic Hybrid, from what I remember, we have it as restricted right now.
Yeah, Company of Dragons. I hard failed that one, mainly because it gets a whole fuck ton of races that are dragons. As a DM resource, this could be interesting for making characters that are NPCs. For players, no. Just no. In the first 2 pages, you get resistance to fire and cold damage, a deadly tail attack that does 2d8, and a wing attack as the first class you see. As the first race you see, sorry.
Gross. Yeah, you don't let players be dragons. It never works out well.
Yeah, so that's going to be a hard fail from me. You guys
Okay.
can feel free to converse on it as you see fit.
I've read the Company of Dragons as well. I also felt the same about that one race. The other races, as far as I looked, didn't look as powerful, but were still a bit bonkers. But yeah,
Hardtail from you too.
and also really actually letting a player use a dragon, like a full out dragon. It would either be like. It would be like breaking to them as they are like, oh, I'm a dragon. I'm just going to fight the other dragon. And all of a sudden they just get shredded to pieces. Or they destroy everything beneath them.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, so the vote is up. Go ahead and vote as you would. Thumbs up,
Where
thumbs
is
down,
general
or
again?
restricted. It's in
General again. General again.
These are going to be in general until we get done with the ones that he posted.
These are everything, to be clear. This is everything.
Okay.
Some of these contain more than one ability, for the record. Fair warning on that.
It's fine.
Driving right now, but yeah, no on the dragon. Never let.
All right, so that's
4 no's. Because
All right.
we have
So that's a
Maggie
no.
and Clyde who voted on it, and Gronk
So that is
At
a no.
most, I would allow it to be restricted for star players. Just give it a hard warning beforehand. That's my
That's
thing.
what I would do. Is I would make it a hard restriction personally, not necessarily a flat out no, but a hard restriction.
Can we
Like changeling level?
I honestly, even as restricted, I don't feel comfortable with this. More for the lore of the land and other resources like it.
For people wanting to use it for fun.
Are you a straight dragon? Like straight up a
Yeah,
dragon?
you are a straight up dragon, not a dragon.
Yeah, you're a straight up dragon, but you're not even as powerful as a normal dragon. So if you're fighting an adult dragon, you're gonna get shredded to pieces.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah,
No.
lore wise, it breaks the
in a
game.
tavern. How are you gonna go into a cave? You're a fucking dragon. I'm sorry, no.
It does have shapeshift into human, but you can't use any of the abilities when you do that.
Either way, it's a hard fail for me. Oh. Brad, words of the wise. When someone asks, hey, can I vote? There's a reason they're not already voting.
Anyway, all right, so that's a no. That's not allowed.
Yeah.
There's more people for no than there is for restricted. So.
Let me pull up 8.
All right, go ahead and do 8.
Alright. It is null, packless null, and simic hybrid. Those are the 2 in this one.
Those were fair, as far as I've seen.
Null, I would give a pass. I am biased on the matter because that was my personal revision. I made it, I built it, all that stuff.
I mean,
and all the revisions have been noted in the actual race. I believe we already have it set up, so it is there.
All right, so give me the report on the null. We'll start with the null.
Okay. Revisions. So I had a natural weapon attack for 1d6. I dropped it to a 1d4 because it does get some good abilities, as we have discussed. And I discussed it with Clyde, and he's like, yeah, 1d4 sounds fair. So I dropped it to a 1d4. A null of the pack, I believe, gets, +2 to strength, +1 to dex, -1 to charisma. And you can give an action and attack as a bonus, as a reaction. So on their turn, you use your reaction, I believe it was. I'm really confusing the wording on this, so bear with me. I haven't looked at it.
It was reaction to make somebody else attack their closest target.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's once per long rest.
Yeah, once per long rest, to be clear. Packless Null gets something entirely different. They get +2 to dex, +1 to charisma, -1 to strength, and there are reasons behind the -1 to strength. I know it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The idea being is that they have since worked on their social skills with their strength time instead of the other way around. But
good Lord, Ray.
What's up? What's Ray doing?
Ray's been sitting in here for the past 10 minutes, deafened, not realizing. We thought we were sitting in quiet.
Oh God.
Shit. I'm sorry. I have to fix that, man. Forgive me. Does Ray have the staff thing?
Yeah, he should.
He should.
He is staff, so.
Yeah, he's undeafened.
I'm here.
Yeah, but he should be able to undeafen himself.
Yeah,
He
I
didn't?
get that.
He's the one that Devin himself. Message
Yeah, he's
8, or message 9 was the dragon?
He's
8
good.
is what?
In any case,
What is message 8 again?
it was message 8 was Null
No.
and Simic Hybrid. There was a mention on the Darkness book, but because I didn't want to go through a whole book in a single revision, I just kind of denied it. Sonic I later will go into it again and just break it down as best as I am able. I still have to go through the player races, but as far as I've seen, it's a no.
I mean, I'm very,
That's a very most restricted.
and I want to modify it to where it is a lot more fair. I do understand some of the spells kind of get bonkers, especially late game. That one cantrip, being you use it with a monk. I mean, it's better
It
than
gets
the monk's
fucking
stuff.
You're biased though, Vampire Boy.
Yes, and I am very biased. However, I do want to make it more fair because I love that kind of like play style role play of being I sacrifice my
So you're
HP
biased.
for stronger hits and whatnot. Yada yada yada.
Anyway,
I'm promising
you
to
said
work
Noel?
on it.
You said Noel boards?
Yeah, Null is also in here. And to be clear, I'm working on that right now, so we're not quite done with Null yet.
Let me go ahead and
They do also get one more ability. Excuse me. They also get one more ability, which is basically you add, a D6, I believe it is. Yeah. And you add it to your AC as a reaction, basically like a parry. That is Tackless Null's racial ability. You do that once per long rest.
Oh, once per long rest. That's okay.
It is kind of potent, but because it is once per long rest, you really have to use it wisely. That's why I thought it would be okay.
Yeah, per long rest is okay. Every fucking turn for free. Nah.
No, God, no. Fuck that. I'm sorry. I wouldn't even allow this. I like weak races, okay? So forgive me when I say this. I would not allow this even as a short rest in one of my games. But yeah, long rest should be fine. As
Come
far
on,
as
I won't break it that much. I promise.
No. Okay. In any case, you could play an
Noel and
You're
what?
probably good at that. As far as that's everything, as far as sub races and abilities they get, whoa. Why are there 2 immediate downvotes on 7? Oh, wait. We haven't covered 7 yet, have we?
No, I don't know why. Sonic already gave it a thumbs up. Bastard.
Down.
Sorry.
Bad Sonic. Anyway.
As far as the Simic Hybrid, I recommended it be restricted because it does get some good shit that could make some very decent combos.
Agreed.
For example, at 5th level, you have a choice between 2 mutations. Or, sorry, at 1st level, I'm thinking of a different thing. At 1st level, you get something called Manta Glide. One of the things you can choose from. Basically, you can use wings on your back to slow or allow you to glide. When you fall and aren't capacitated, you can subtract up to 100 feet from the fall when calculating falling damage. Combine that with the Monk's Slow Fall. And then combine Monk's Slow at 5th level or 6th level when you get Slow Fall, you also have grappling appendages. Like, there are some real nasty combos you can make.
As far as the gliding goes,
I mean, it's kind of a mad combo.
Talk about a glider for players that is not wingwear. That is not magical.
What are we talking about? With the wingsuit or something else?
Yeah, talking about the wingsuit.
Okay.
So that becomes a bit. The only big difference is they get it innately. Other players kind of have to work for it, but it is something all players can do, I believe.
Also,
that's something that was talked about.
That kind of slow fall thing is kind of meh. It's just a traveling mechanic thing that you can do easily, and then you're all alone, leaving your party behind.
You fall off a cliff. It does no damage. I think that's going to piss off any DM.
No, not really.
I mean, you do no damage when you hit the ground if there's not fucking sharp rocks at the bottom.
That too, but also you're now all alone, and your party has to find a way to get to you, or you get to your party.
Yeah.
Or they fall down and follow you and die. Like, yeah, it's not
It's
But
not
there's
a get
also-
out of jail free card, but it kind of is a get out of
Yeah,
jail
with the
free.
wrong combination, it can make a real problem, though, in the right
A good
situation, admittedly. But there is the other problem of the fifth level evolutions. Grappling appendages, again, with monk would be a real problem, because you get 2 extra arms that you can use as an action to try and grapple a creature. They
I
are
mean,
also a
yeah,
natural
one
weapon
would
that
go.
can make an unarmed strike.
It's an action, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't get more attacks just because you have more arms.
yeah, you don't get more just because you have more arms.
It
It's
just
an
lets you
action
grapple
to
and
grapple a
punch.
creature with those arms. So you just
A
have
full
2 more
action.
arms, and that
That
means
you
you can
can
grapple
just
2 more
stab
creatures,
them
but
with
you still have to
on your
use an
neck.
action to use them.
I would
Yeah, one
argue
action.
it should be, but that's just me.
That's
So,
you, though.
and the one I'm really having a problem with, this is kind of the deciding factor for me, was acid spit. As an action, you can spray acid from glands in your mouth, targeting one creature or object you can see within 30 feet of you. The target takes 2d10 acid unless it succeeds a dexterity saving throw plus 8 your constitution modifier plus your proficiency bonus. Damage increases by 1d10 when you reach 11th, and 3d10 when you increase. It's basically a free firebolt, but acid.
So let me
What level? What level do you get that at?
5th. So again, it's basically firebolt, but
That's
it's free.
fine.
It's a cantrip.
It's a
fine.
cantrip, man. It's a cantrip.
Exactly
I
like a
don't like
cantrip.
getting cantrips. I'm sorry, that's
It's a cantrip. That's completely
It's
balanced.
fine.
Yeah.
It's totally fine.
personally,
Alright, so-
personally speaking, it is this or the arms, and I understand why people might be okay with it. But personally speaking, I don't like races getting spells. I just don't.
Eladrin
And that's-
Misty Step.
Yeah.
Eladrin Misty Step versus
I
extra.
did not have any say in that.
That's
I
a
won't
spell
make that
spell.
clear.
Giving a raise of cantrip ain't a big deal.
I
Like,
personally believe differently, but again, that's up to you guys. If you guys want to approve it, by all means.
You
I
burn
would
your
like
action
to.
to do this. So much
I
for
would
your
like
multi-attack.
to answer on that. So, the extra arms. What it's basically saying is you have 2 extra appendages. You use an action to grapple with one of them. So you grapple another creature. It's basically a thing of, oh, if you have Tavern Brawler, you can have 4 people instead of just 2. However, you can still only attack due to extra attack twice.
But I point out, your arms are still free. People are going to argue, hey, I'd like to hit this grappled guy at advantage with my weapon because I
You
have
don't
2
get
extra
advantage
arms.
unless you have grappler feet.
And
Point
yes,
being,
you
people
need
are still
grappler
going to
feet.
argue that
So
and try
you
and save
need
us trouble in the long run.
I will
They
say,
can
there is a
argue all they
bonkers
want.
build to
That's
go
not how
around
that
it.
works.
But however, they do have to build it and work towards it.
That is fair.
Yeah, it's fine. Take the grappler feet, grapple with an action. Your next full turn, you'll get your multi-attack. That's fine.
I will say, at the very least, make it restricted, if
I
not
wouldn't
passed.
even restrict it. It's completely fair, honestly. Because even to get like all 4 people grappled, you have to use your action twice. That's 3 turns if you have Tavern Brawler to grapple 4 people.
That's a chance every turn for them to break free. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's not abusive. It's really fair.
And honestly, what are the odds you're gonna get that many people close to you to grapple? Very circumstantial. And a good DM, a good DM can negate all this race bullshit, by the way.
Absolutely. So let's do the vote.
Wizards has licensed content that is bullshit.
Wizards, God.
Wizards, Fireball.
Seeing as this one has like things, just the document. If you guys have different votes for each thing, you can just type it in and say yes, no, or restricted.
I'm fine with
I'm fine with both at this point if you guys are. If you guys are okay with it, I can give a yes to both. I just want to make sure.
If you're not okay with it, put it no, boards. That's not how this works.
Boards.
If you're not okay with it, put a no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No.
That's not how that works. You have to vote what you feel.
Okay. I'm still getting the balance for the server on the point. My point is, you guys are all okay with it. I understand that. And you've raised a lot of fair points, and I think I changed my mind. So
okay. If that's
I'm
the
okay
case,
with
then
hybrid.
by all means.
You raised a fair point, Sonic especially, when you said you do have to build for it, and it is not something they just get. And I think that's something I forgot to take into account.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can always rely on me
Wizard
to
ain't
read
gonna
the
do shit.
technicalities in the words, man.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm going to be a yes to both. Just flat yes, not restricted on Simic. So I need to change that when I get the opportunity.
Like, even I said, like, boards convinced me, like, yeah, the Dark Arts Guide is kind of borked. It would, and I've changed my mind to let players use it to restricted, heavily restricted. And I have to change certain cantrips and spells and shit before that, even.
But as far as
Can I say no to the Knoll?
you're a horrible human being, and I hate you for the rest of my life.
You will never be a Knoll again.
Well,
All right.
I can't argue that in the Company of Dragons, I was trying to do it solid, but I also understand why not. Lore reasons is my biggest reason why I would say no.
Yeah, like
To In the
Dragons
Company of
would not be
Dragons.
that common in this world. It would not work.
I still need
I mean,
Gronk,
I would
Ray, and Loki to vote.
have dragons be a thing, and that
As
in
far
the
as
Company of
this one,
Dragons,
restricted.
It says they can be
Or
hiding.
no,
It
at
can
most
be hiding.
restricted, otherwise pass.
Yeah,
I don't see it in staff votes.
It's in
it's
general.
in general because I fucked up.
True.
It's no dragons in this world.
No.
It's
But they're
not
not
Dragons we've
common.
already nixed.
It's message 8.
Message it.
But for in the Company of Dragons, I would say restrict it to people who are not gonna break it. Like, it's a for fun thing, and it also
I don't know.
have shapeshifter. So they
We can
could be
revisit
hiding
it.
among the humans.
We
Yeah,
can
let's
revisit it
revisit
later, but as it stands now, it's a no fly.
Yeah,
We
it's
clip
Yeah,
the
that's fair.
wings.
That's fair.
She's grounded, mate.
We
Yeah.
clip the wings of the dragon. Yep.
I'm not
Okay.
saying this because I want to play it. I just want people to be like, "Oh, I'm a dragon." Like, it has that interesting gameplay aspect.
No, that's never a good plan.
I mean, it's a cool thing to give DMs. Let's be clear about this. For DMs to work with their NPCs, that'd be an interesting idea. Just to have
Yeah.
these like
Yeah.
pseudo dragons kind of thing run around. That I could live with. As far as players, no, that is a big no from me. Not only just for lore,
Unless
but
you're in
because
a
a lot of
campaign.
the abilities can be really used in a bad way. And even if
here's
they are
Just a
restricted,
wet march.
yeah.
Here's my input as from the lore side of it. Seeing as I can't vote, I will say this: that the world we are trying to build is a high but low end magic world. In my opinion, I think of dragons as a high end, so they're gonna be rare.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I would say no personally, even though I can't vote. My input is I would say no personally, just because of the fact of the lore aspect of it.
Yeah.
We can revisit it later.
No.
We have all voted on it. We all gave our opinion. We should move on because at this point we're just spinning
Yes.
in circles.
Yes.
All right. The next
Message 7.
Message 7 is just the revisions on the Dark Art Spell Companion. Basically, I voted as it restricted because there are some real good monsters in there. There are some real good creatures in there. I have not. These are just the spells to be clear for player usage. That DM should get access to. On the other hand, spells in that book can be real fucking broken, and it does need to be reworked. Luckily, Sonic Light has offered to rework the entire thing. Most of the spells that are broken are going to get reworked. And
so let's do this. We will go back to this when.
Yeah, so I was going to say we should come back to this once.
Actually, technically, I've already reworked like the big one, the big one, the cantrip that has a 1d12 for 1 HP. Basically, all you have to do, like in my opinion, is increase the damage that it deals, equal to the level that you are. So, yes, it makes it to where at certain levels it's really, really good, but it falls off again, and it's okay, good again, and it falls off again. This also makes it to where you're not going to spam it, and it's not the only move you want to do. Because if you kill it, sure, you get maybe half the damage you deal back.
But that's for that one attack and not for all.
Yeah, and it's one attack, and it's not all of them. If you do it for all of them, you're going to lose a lot of HP.
Not only that, but this is for a wizard thing, as I understand
it's for a wizard, a sorcerer, and then the monk gets it special.
Okay, yeah.
And the monk was the biggest one that I was concerned with, because action, do that, and then you just dodge.
Yeah.
I think this one is going. This particular book should be everyone. The lore master. Everyone should jump in on this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
In order to
if one
pass it.
has a problem with it, then yeah.
Yeah, because it could really change things. I can see that.
All right,
This is
Also,
gonna
it has CR30s in there, and everyone should get to weigh in on that because CR30s could seriously fuck the lore.
It's
Like there is a single monster in there that specifically I wanted to talk about because it is an Arch-Lich, which means that it is technically more powerful than a Tarrasque as I understand it.
No, Tarrasque is level 30.
CR30, but yes. Okay, I thought they were CR20 for some reason.
No.
All right, so this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. You can vote now. The top hat is to go through it again and make sure everything is balanced and have everyone go through it. The thumbs up is just pass it.
I will top hat it.
Biased, but I also want to go through it.
All right.
Top hat.
Well, then it will be going back over through it again. We will have to have a sit down with everyone and go through it together.
At the very least, if we can't go through it with everyone, we should sit down with people individually. And I wouldn't mind
homebrew crew sit down on it.
Sitting down with the lore masters, calling them individually if I have to.
Keep in mind, for those who are homebrew, for those who are admins, moderators, etc., it is on you guys to create your own time frames for meetings and for meetings between each other.
Yeah.
So it is not on me. It is not on anyone else besides you guys.
Yep.
I don't mind calling people if it gets too crazy for some people, but I'm gonna try and set something up before the end of the week, if not the next 2 weeks, because it
That's fine. If I can make it, I will make it. If not, then it's no big deal.
Okay.
Being the owner, I'm sort of like a little bit of everything, so I will try to make as many meetings as possible. I cannot guarantee I'll make them. The only thing I ask
if you want
is
set guidelines and stuff, and just be like, get this done by X amount of time. It's on you guys to figure it out when.
The only thing I ask is if there is something that needs to be discussed with me, make sure you message me. This way, I can have my input or tell you my input. All right.
That is the last of reports.
Okay.
So now go over what we have restricted and what we haven't, and if anybody has any qualms about it.
So what we have as of now for allowed races, these are all the allowed and restricted races as of now. And this was mainly just me going through what we have available to us on D&D Beyond. It may or may not be everything. That is up to the homebrew crew to let me know. Alright, first is Aarakocra. I have it allowed. Variant Aramor is allowed. Unless I say restricted, it's allowed. Fallen Aramor. Protector Aramor. Scourge Aramor.
Say what's restricted and not allowed, and what is.
Yeah. Bugbear, Centaur. Changeling is restricted. Dragonborn.
Centaur restricted?
No.
Centaur is not restricted.
Okay, because last I checked, it was restricted. That's why I was confused.
Yeah.
We changed it.
This is up to date as of when the hell did I do this? I went back through and changed it slightly. I think it was like last Thursday. Yeah. Anyway, Bugbear, Centaur, Changelings restricted, Dragonborn, Grey Dwarf, Mark of the Warding Dwarf, Hill Dwarf, Mountain Dwarf, Arani, whatever the fuck the pronouncing is, High Elf, Wood Elf, Dark Elf, Eldrin Elf, both are allowed. High Elf, Mark of the Shadow Elf, Sea Elf, Shadar Kai Elf, Valjanar
Edgelord Elf.
Edgelord Wood Elf, Furbolt, all the Genasi are allowed. Forest Gnome, Mark of Scribing Gnome, Deep Gnome, Rock Gnome, Gith, both are allowed. Goblin is restricted as of now. Goliath, Half Elf, Aquatic Half Elf, Drow Half Elf, High Half Elf, Wood Half Elf, Mark of Detection Half Elf, Mark of Storm Half Elf, Half Orc, Mark of Finding Half Orc, Halfling, Lightfoot Halfling, Stout Halfling, Ghostwise Halfling, Mark of Healing Halfling, Mark of Hospitality Halfling, Hobgoblin, Human Variant, Human, Mark of the Finding Human, Mark of the Handling Human, Mark of Market human. Mark of Passage human. Mark of Sentinel human. Kal Shatar is restricted. Kenku, Cobalt, Lizard Folk is restricted as of now.
What? Kobold is restricted?
No, Lizard Folk.
Lizard.
Okay.
I will go over
Jump all over
freaked
all your
out
ass
I
and be
will.
like, you fucking idiots.
I will go over restricted afterwards to explain why I said restricted. And like I said, these are not final. This is just what I have down.
Yeah.
Again,
Lokatha.
Opar, just lift the restricted and banned. You're going to be here all day.
I'm almost done anyway. Lokatha
Alright.
is restricted. Loxodon is restricted. Minotaur is restricted. Orc
I thought we
Eberron
lifted
is allowed.
Minotaur.
Yeah,
I
Minotaur's
forget.
fair.
We might have. I forget. Anyway, Orc of
We
Eberron.
lifted it with Centaur.
That's right. Orc of Eberron. Shifters, all are allowed. Cyborg Hybrid is restricted. Tabaxi. Tiefling, all are allowed except for the variant Tiefling and the variant Feral Tiefling. They are both restricted. Tortol. Triton is restricted. Ved the Larkin is restricted. Verdan is restricted. Warforged is allowed, and Yanti Pureblood is restricted. So,
Bullfire.
Changeling, obviously you know why I said restricted. The Goblin.
No, it's balance. Go
Oh,
and
yeah.
pass it.
Completely balanced, guys. Come on.
The Goblin.
Moving on.
Any
Tactics?
feedback on why that should not be restricted?
I have seen why it should not be restricted because I already know why it's restricted. The whole goblin thing of, oh, I can just do the same thing that halflings can do. Wait, which one was it? Shit. Which one was it?
Goblin?
Somebody send me goblin shit.
What are they get? Pack tactics? Tiny and...
I forget exactly what it was.
I
the
know
5e
they're
goblin I was
for
going on.
hit and run shit, but I mean, then again, it's a goblin. I mean, yes, you're gonna have the goblin road, but it's not super bonkers.
Why is it restricted?
I didn't have an actual real good reason for it to be restricted. I just didn't know what the hell it was, like how it worked.
Basically, I told him a brief rundown of the abilities I knew about, and he said it was, yeah, that sounds like it should be restricted. However, I'm going to say this now, I am not fully versed on what Goblin currently is. I remember it from a while ago.
Someone read the sheet, please.
So yeah, it might very well not be restricted tomorrow.
All right, give me 1 second. I'll pull up the sheet.
Read the abilities, please.
I'm working on it.
One second.
Working on it.
Tell me a story, Daddy. Tell me a story.
Oh, I will
Okay.
later. Okay.
This is monster.
About generic D&D manual stuff.
Goblin.
What I like. I'm a nerd.
They have, you can speak, read, and write common and goblin. Nimble escape, you can take the disadvantage or disengage or hide action as a bonus action end of each turn. Fear of the small, when you damage a creature with an attack or a spell on a creature's size is larger than yours, you can cause the attack or spell to deal extra damage to the creature. The extra damage equals your level. Once you use this trait, you cannot use it again until you finish a short or long rest.
That's not bad.
That's the thing that threw up to me because it was immediately like goblin rogues are going to be absolutely nasty. But that's a good point. I didn't.
But you only get that
Yeah,
once.
once per rest, so you only get one. It's basically that extra sneak
Sure, it
attack.
can get gross, but at most 20 damage. Not
Yeah, it's basically like a shitty sneak attack. That's all it is.
All right, so I'm going to take that off of restricted.
Yeah, it should be allowed.
Next is the
kind of
Kensho
underpowered. It's low speed too, right? 25 speed.
Something
No,
like that.
30. But I do.
think it's 30.
But then again, goblins should have 30. Like they're actually.
All right, Kelshatar. Kelshatar sleep, but they don't connect to
Kalistar.
the plane of dreams as other creatures do. Instead, their minds draw memories from their otherworldly spirit when they sleep. As such, you're immune to spells and other magical effects that require you to dream, like dream, but not to spells and other magical effects that put you to sleep, like sleep. Mind link, you can speak telepathically to any creature you can see, provided the creature is within feet of you equal to 10 times your level. You don't need to share a language with the creature for it to understand your telepathic utterances, but the creature must be able to understand at least one language. When you're using this trait to speak telepathically to a creature, you can use your action to give that creature the ability to speak telepathically with you for 1 hour, until you end this effect as an action. Use this ability, the creature must be able to see you and be within the trait's range. You give this ability to only one creature at a time. Giving it to a creature takes away from another creature who's already have it. You have mental discipline, meaning you have resistance to psychic attacks. You have dual minds, so you have advantage to wisdom, all wisdom saving throws. You have 30 movement and speed.
No, restricted.
Yeah,
restricted.
Too many abilities, too much usability.
Yep, that's what
Now,
the
other thing, the biggest reason why I would restrict this, I would actually lock this. I would lock this race. This race
you're
cannot.
A fucking psychic fanatic.
The reason what he's saying about locking it is we were talking about. I didn't get to this. I forgot all about this. Thank you for reminding me. We were talking about locking certain races till you get to that point in the actual story of the area, for lore reasons specifically. So you'd have to unlock the dream area in order to have access to these to begin with.
That makes sense.
It has to be balanced and allowed and good.
So you're saying that it could be.
This is definitely a restricted race,
right? Yes.
It's a restricted race, but you can't even access it until we have access to the dream realm.
Yeah.
Once we have access to the dream realm,
make it restricted and locked. If you get the restriction lifted and you can play it, you still need to unlock it.
Sounds good.
Old Fire.
Yes.
Question for lore wise.
Yes.
Dream realm, basically, quote unquote, would be that one thing that I actually brought up in ideas.
Is it?
What is it?
There was like another world that was basically like the dream world. Quote unquote.
Delcor?
Astral plane?
Yeah, it's another like plane. Different fragments of the astral plane that created little demi-plane of itself.
No.
Everyone has a dream plane.
Something like that.
No need to... Everyone already has a dream plane. Don't make another one.
If you guys want any information on dream plane stuff,
that's
come
like
at me.
Loki's shit. That's his shit. He's obsessed with it.
Yeah,
anyway,
Loki's
Peanut and Corey, you guys can both unmute. You are both staff, so you do have a say in this if you want.
My pleasure.
Anyway, going on to Lizard Folk. You can read, write, common, and draconic. You have hungry jaws. In battle, you can throw yourself into a vicious feeding frenzy. As a bonus action, you can make a special attack with your bite. If the attack hits, it deals normal damage, and you gain temporary hit points, maximum or minimum of 1, equal to your Constitution modifier, and you cannot use this trait again until you finish a short and long rest. Natural armor. You have tough, scaly skin. When you armor, your AC is 13 plus your Dex mod. You can use your natural armor to determine your AC if the armor you're wearing would leave you a lower AC. And a shield's benefit applies as normal while you use your natural.
Would that stack with a barbarian or a monk?
Yeah,
it stacks with barbarian and monk. I'm pretty sure.
Hunter's lore.
Okay.
Or
Hunter's lore.
Yeah, it doesn't stack. It replaces.
Yeah, Hunter's lore. You gain proficiency with 2 of the following skills of your choice: animal handling, nature, perception, stealth, and survival. You can hold your breath up to 15 minutes at a time. As part of a short rest, you harvest bone and hide from a slain beast, construct dragon, monstrosity, plant, creature of size smaller or large, to create one of the following items: a shield, a club, a javelin, 1d4 darts, or blowgun needles. To use this trait, you need a blade such as a dagger, appropriate artisan tools, such as a leather worker's tools.
That sounds like something anyone can do.
Lizard folk?
Yes. Bite. Your fanged maul is a natural weapon which you can use to make an unarmed strikes. If you hit with it, you deal piercing damage equal to 1d6 of your strength modifier instead of bludgeoning damage normal to your strike. First thing I thought of with this was mixing it with Monk and Fury of Blows, and first thing I thought was absolutely disgusting amount of damage early on. However, I think later on, once they get to higher level, it's not going to be quite as strong. So I
you can only do the bite like once.
It's either...
Their unarmed strike is a 1d6 plus strength mod.
Well, monks can already get short swords, so it doesn't really matter. You just have an unarmed short sword for permanently.
But you get Fury of Blows
that deal 1d8.
My point is, Fury of Blows, it gets quite close.
It doesn't stack, though. You're either biting or you're using your martial arts flurry of blows and stuff. You can't flurry of blow bite.
Yeah,
that's not something that
has to be an unarmed attack fist.
It says, this is what it says. your Fanged Maul is a natural weapon you can use to make unarmed strikes. So actually, it would stack because it was the strike. So per blows.
Yeah, that.
But your build is not strength; it's dex, so it's kind of not. It doesn't mesh well.
Yeah.
It actually
No, it doesn't.
does.
Seems fair.
Monks have the
I've seen
ability
much
to
more
use as
disgusting
part of their
things.
martial arts. Monks have the ability to use their dex instead of their strength
Question.
on weapon attacks. So they don't have to use strength if they're a monk. They can use dex.
Hey
No, the
guys,
bite says use your strength.
Yeah, the bite does say your strength mod. So
Yes, but it can be replaced with dex if you are a monk.
Yeah, unarmed strikes for monk are dex or strength. You have basically finessed unarmed.
So that is the reason. The bite right here is the entire reason I put it as restricted because earlier on it is
If
disgusting.
they do stack, if they do stack, then no.
Yeah,
It
I'm
goes
gonna
from
keep that one
D4
as
to
restricted.
D6.
I'm gonna keep that one as restricted.
I would
guys.
have said no, they don't stack.
So
Yes, sir.
before you guys say restricted, I do want to bring allowing Bugbear, and Bugbear also has disgusting things with monk.
That reach.
Hey,
A reach,
Okay.
number one, and then you just put grappler on that, so you can grapple 10 foot away. They're still 10 foot away. They can't attack you now unless they have a ranged attack, and then it's
All
actually
right. So let's
and blah, blah,
let's
blah.
do this because it is getting kind of crazy with the talking. If anyone has a comment or a question, just put in the thing in the staff chat now because everyone's trying to talk over each other and I can't hear everyone.
That's one thing I wanted to add.
I will go back and check out Bugbear then. Don't worry.
Well, I mean, it's
Alright.
fair. It's fair. It's a build, is what it is.
Yeah.
It's supposed to do dumb things because it's a dumbass build. I say allow lizard folk because it's not overly broken. It's just strong in that sense. But most people, they want to role play with it. They're gonna go like a barbarian or even a fighter.
And those who don't,
I mean, then okay. If you want a power game, go ahead. I mean, that's part of the fun.
I would disagree with that on some level, but I understand where you're coming from.
It doesn't sound overly
Ow.
broken where
Yeah,
it's
why is
extremely
Loki?
difficult to handle.
All right. Going on to Lokatha. Lokatha is the fish folk. They can read and write Aquarian and Common. Their base walking speed is 30 feet, and they have a swim speed of 30 feet. They stand between 5 and 6 feet tall on average and about 150 pounds. Size is medium. They can breathe air and water, but you need to submerge at least once every 4 hours to avoid suffocation. You have advantage on saving throws against being charmed, frightened, paralyzed, poisoned, stunned, or put to sleep. That alone may want to put it in restricted. You have proficiency in athletics and perception skills. You have tough, scaly skin. When you aren't wearing armor, your AC is 12 plus your dex mod. You can use your natural armor to determine your AC if your armor you're wearing is lower than your AC. Shield benefit applies. Alignment. They are true neutral and have aspects of neutrality in their alignment. They tend towards good, coming from the culture where compassion for downtrodden is a community. They can live to 80 years, and the ability score is 2 to dexterity, and 2 to strength and 1 dexterity.
Can you read that breathing thing again?
Limited.
That's a massive nerf.
You can breathe air and water, but you need to be submerged at least once every 4 hours to avoid suffocating. I thought the same
That's a
thing.
massive nerf. Even if
I
it's
thought trying to work around this would be very difficult for most people who try to play it.
because you have to be completely submerged. It says.
Yeah,
So
it's
it
not even
doesn't
like you
mean
can
they
let
can
you be
stick a water
submerged.
bowl on their head.
Yeah, that was what I was worried about, was people trying to just dump water skims on their head. But if they have to be completely submerged,
You have to find.
I wouldn't call it restricted, because basically suffocation. I believe specifically with this race, it removes the buff that gives you the advantage on checks, like the sleep checks and shit. I believe if
So
you're
that
not
pretty much
covered in
means that if
4
someone
hours, I
doesn't
believe
go
it
to
just
sleep
removes
water, they would immediately die from
Suffocation
suffocation.
is just disgusting. Period.
that. Yeah, but yeah.
So
I would say allowed personally because of that little caveat, but
God damn it.
Yeah, that little caveat, I would say allow it because, like, finding a body of water and having to submerge yourself every 4 hours.
I would say restricted even for that because it's going to be very difficult for a player character to work around that. You need to actually have.
Oh, you're saying restricted because of that, not because it's broken.
I would say outright banned because I don't want to deal with that fucking headache. Does anybody else?
Yes,
I'm okay with it.
Then the bitching, someone be like, I died because I suffocated because we were traveling 8 hours in a direction on horseback.
I mean, if you're traveling 8 hours in a direction, you can find lakes casually.
It's a desert.
Maybe.
It's not
And
always.
yes,
I don't know
you
if you
have
looked at where we
survival
are.
checks
Yeah,
to
he's
find
got
an
a point. It's
oasis.
going to create headaches for DM in the long run. I'm kind of with him on this one. Maybe it should either be restricted or should be banned because of the headaches it will cause lore masters and DMs.
Here's what I was thinking.
Restricted.
Is I was definitely thinking. I was thinking about definitely putting it as locked. You're not going to have this on arcade. These things are not going to be walking around everywhere.
Where?
Because of the specific, the continent we're on. Because of the specifics of. Because the specifics of they need water constantly, you're not going to find these things on the continent we're on. So they're definitely going to be at least locked. As they go for restricted, I think that because they have resilience to so much shit, and because they're going to be hard to work around regardless, I think that's my opinion.
I mean,
Can I make a suggestion?
I guess I
I
can
can
see that
agree
if they
with
show
this.
that
we
they
can
can
also
handle it properly, and you
Can I,
can live
make
with
a
the flaw, and you're not going to lose your shit when you die.
we can also rewrite it to where suffocation is specifically for this unless you're actually suffocating, because it says you can breathe air and water. You lose like some of your special abilities like the resistances and saving throw advantage if
We could
you
change it
are
from
underwater for 4 hours.
We could change it from
specifically.
rather suffocation
Hello?
to like dried out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dried
I
out.
got an
Dry out
idea.
with some of your abilities, your natural
Go ahead.
talents.
Corey.
Why not, instead of making them fully submerge themselves, just make them have to drink water periodically, very often?
No, because
That's too easy.
that makes it disgusting. It's
Yeah.
overpowered then.
Why does it make it disgusting? A higher
It
intake
has
of water would mean their
resistances to a
body stays
lot of things and
moisturized.
an
It's
advantage to
supposed
a
to be
lot
a
of saving
flaw.
throws.
That's no flaw. I drink water. Done.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Moving on. Next is
We
Minotaur.
could do a apparatus like off of Hellboy and that Fishman guy.
It's only his head.
We don't have the
That
technology
would
for that.
again be something that you'd have to do a big quest for and then build it.
Loxodon. They are the humanoid elephants. They have keen smell. Thanks to their sensitive trunks, you have advantage on wisdom, which is perception checks, wisdom survival checks, and intelligent investigation checks. That involves smell. Trunk. You can grasp things with your trunk that you can use as a snorkel. And you can use it as a snorkel. It has a reach of 5 feet and can lift a number of pounds equal to 5 times your strength score. You can use it to do the following simple tasks: lift, drop, hold, push, or pull an object or a creature. Open and close a door or container, grapple someone, make unarmed strikes. Your DM might allow other simple tasks to be added to that list of options. Your trunk cannot wield weapons or shield or do anything that requires manual precision, such as using tools, magic items, or performing the somatic components of a spell. Natural armor. You have a thick leathery skin. When you aren't wearing armor, your AC is 12. Yada 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 yada. Loxodon Serenity. You have advantage of saving being charmed or frightened. When determining your size, for carrying capacity and the weight you can push, drag, lift, you count as one size larger.
Real quick, do we have GIF on this race list?
Yes.
The hippo people?
Oh.
The GIF, GIF,
Mhm.
as in, yeah, I read that earlier that we have that as a lot.
Yeah, that's
GIF.
fair.
Okay. You do know that they come with a gun, right?
No,
I
they
did
don't
not.
come with a gun, Loki.
You sure?
I'll have to
do
go back
not
over and
come
look at
with a
them.
gun.
Anyway,
You good?
back to this. I have that as restricted because of the nose, the trunk. Truthfully, pretty much that's the only reason I think that they should be restricted, because that can be quite powered depending for RP reasons.
It only reaches 5 feet. It's no different
That
than a
is
hand.
true. That is true.
You know, you can make an unarmed strike.
It sounds
It's
fair
pretty balanced.
because
Yeah, doesn't seem too bad
the
to me.
advantage stuff is smell, and then it's otherwise just another big tanky motherfucker that just fucks shit up.
Okay.
It's perception
Yeah, but I
on
mean,
smell only.
As
and
for
advantage
lore
on
wise,
harm and frighten only. That's no different than a thing.
And then the trunk
Okay.
is pretty weak in comparison to its arms. So it's not
as
like
for lore wise, do we want to say that it's locked?
we could.
We could,
A lot of
but we
these
couldn't.
stranger races could be locked because area we're on.
Exactly.
It's a
I'm
bit more simple
thinking.
for DMs, so there's not a lot of confusion and strange. You're a what? I never seen that. What's it do? Here we go again.
I figured once we have a list of locked creatures, we can actually put them like on the map and say, all right, this is where they're probably going to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I gotcha.
All right.
Once
Then they
you
will
get
be
there,
allowed.
open up, you
Yeah.
can have them anywhere. You know,
They will be allowed.
One person got there and open up there.
They will be allowed, but they're going to be locked. Minotaur, I had that as allowed. Should we lock Minotaur? Yes or no?
No.
All right.
Why not?
I kind of feel like we should if we're gonna lock some of the fuzzier races behind. You know, if we're gonna lock the furries, we should probably lock Minotaur because that does technically count. At the same time, I don't know if we're locking furries or
I mean,
not.
we're locking Loxodon, and I feel like
Yeah.
That's a good point. All right, then it is
Minotaurs
locked.
might hang out in the same sort of area.
All right,
We can
Simic
talk
Hybrid.
about locking it in later.
Yeah, Simic Hybrid. They have a lot. In animal enhancement, your body has been altered to incorporate certain animal characteristics. You choose one animal enhancement, 5th level.
Didn't we already cover that? I thought we just covered that in
whether or
the
not we want it
reports.
locked or not.
Yeah.
Oh, locked. Sorry, I misheard that.
Lock it because it's like a high technology type
Yeah,
character.
definitely be locked. Maybe put them with the Eladrins and stuff because they're high tech elves as well.
Yeah.
Next is the Tieflings. The 2 Tieflings. If you look at a regular Tiefling, right, even a feral Tiefling, if you look at regular Tieflings, their stuff is pretty much simple. You have a cantrip at 3rd level, and you get a thing at, what is it, like 5th level, something like that. As for the other Tieflings, the variant and the variant feral Tieflings, they have a decent amount more. They know the Vicious Mockery cantrip. At 3rd level, they can cast Charm Person. 2nd level, this is for the variant Tiefling, by the way. You can finish a long rest to cast spells once again when this trait, with this trait. Here's the differences. Hellfire. Once you reach 3rd level, you can cast Burning Hand spell once per day at 2nd level. This trait replaces Hell's Rebuke spell of the Infernal Legacy trait. And wings. They have bat-like wings sprouting from their shoulders. You can fly speed of 30 feet when you aren't wearing heavy armor. So it's giving them extra shit, more or less. That is not in
giving
tune
them a
with
lot
the
of
other
spells.
ones.
One or two cantrip here and there, not a big deal. But like 2 or 3 spells and a cantrip and fly and whatever. It's a bit much.
And both variant Tiefling, variant feral Tiefling, and variant Tiefling have the same exact thing. With that, with the wings and everything
Feral's
else.
the exact same thing?
Yep, the variant, not the feral Tiefling, the variant feral Tiefling.
The variant feral. Okay, what's the variant feral Tiefling have? I'm going to say
same exact
I
thing.
wanted to also bring up there's other Tiefling things that also do similar things where it changes certain things.
The spells are a little different, but they still have the same thing when it comes down to once you hit 3rd level, you have burn as well, and you have wings again as well. So those are the reasons I put those 2 as restricted, because they have the wings, the extra spells, and all that. Yes.
Oh, well, if it's wings and extra spells, we could modify to where they get less stats.
Maybe. Give them a bit of a handicap on the stats. They get
make it to where they don't get stats, but they get the wings and the spells, extra spells and wings.
What do they get for stat increases, by the way?
Because I know there's a sub race for Kobold Erd where you don't get.
I will vote for rework.
But I mean, you get wings.
Buddy, you're eating the mic. This is what they have. +2.
Go over it for revision.
They have +2 to Dex, +1 to Intelligence. They have, besides those three things that I pointed out with the Hellfire, the wings, stuff like that, they're pretty much the same thing as a regular Tiefling. That's the only difference is the wings and the extra spells. That's why I said that. I said no.
Yeah, just take
I will
all the
vote
extra stats they
that
get
it
and
gets-
give them that.
Just give them a plus
as of right now, rework top half.
I agree.
Yeah,
I think
top
that
hat
should be
rework.
reworked. However, until it gets reworked, I'm gonna leave it as restricted.
For now.
Until it gets reworked. Yeah, this way people don't try and get.
And we can go over it later, rework it so it can get approved. But for now,
all right, Triton.
Restricted.
Triton has a +1 to strength, +1 to con, +1 to charisma. Guardians of the Depth. Adapted to even the most extreme ocean depths, you have resistance to cold damage and you ignore any of the drawbacks caused by a deep underwater environment. Emissary of the Sea.
Jesus.
Aquatic beasts have an extraordinary affinity with your people. You can communicate simple ideas with beasts that can breathe water. They can understand the meaning of your words, though you have no special ability to understand them in return. Control air and water. As a child of the sea, you can call on the magic of elemental air and water. You can cast Fog Cloud with this trait starting at 3rd level. You can cast Gust of Wind with it starting at 5th level. You can also cast Wall with it. Once you cast a spell with this trait, you cannot cast a spell with it again until you finish a long rest. Charisma is your spellcasting modifier for these abilities. Amphibious, you can breathe both air and water. You have a swimming and walking speed of 30, size medium. Alignment tends toward lawful good. As guardians of the darkest reaches of the sea, their culture pushes them towards order and benevolence. They can live up to 200 years. The reason I put that as restricted is because of the fact that you get a +1 to those three things, which isn't that big of a deal. But the fact that mixed with the facts of anything that has to do with water, much you have massive increase in strength. So
that'll just be one area that race can shine.
Yes and no, because it does say any beast that breathe water. You know what I mean? And that can go with a bunch of different creatures.
It also says that you can't understand them, so you can talk to them, but you can't understand them.
Yes,
and that could be a big communication barrier and actually cause more problems than harm. Good,
the biggest thing that sort of popped out to me was when it reads, "You ignore any of the drawbacks caused by a deep underwater environment." That kind of dropped up to me, and sort of threw up a red flag. Is this race too strong? No, I don't think it's too terribly strong, but
I want to bring up something about their lore as to why they do that. They're basically like the deep sea protectors. They hunt krakens and shit.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I know why they do it. I'm just saying, like
Atlantis. But
as for, I definitely think they should be at least locked.
A water elf, quote unquote.
Kind of. I definitely think they should be locked. However,
a lot of the effects that would matter with the deep sea thing would be like it just gets darker, which they should be used to because they're from down there, and pressure. Outside of that, we already know they can't drown, so
I mean, it's basically it's just they're good underwater. You don't have to use magic on them.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not overpowered. It's not disgustingly broken.
Okay. Thanks for that. Thanks for pointing out.
It's just very, very, very situational.
Hey, what's the spell? Water sphere, whatever. Yeah, useless on that guy.
Yeah. And that's still very, very, very situational.
Water elemental can't do shit. I mean, can hit him, but you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, water elemental can't fight them, and if I remember right, water visible when in water.
So I mean, it's not too overly powerful, but there are certain circumstances where it would be extremely.
And in the situational responses, in those situations, I can see it being a problem, but at the same time,
like this, we can deal with this.
It's niche, and that was what I was able to bring.
I don't see it breaking a game.
Not a standard game.
How many games are you gonna run?
I don't see it breaking anything really. It's just extremely situational, and even
it's kind of like the Ranger. It could be great in certain situations. However, those situations rarely come up. It's basically a seaworthy Ranger. as a
Okay.
race.
Yeah, it's
So
like basically
not
if
restricted.
you
Then.
find,
Got it.
Yeah,
That's
lock
just
it
my
because,
opinion, at
of
least.
course, we're gonna have to find them.
I
As
still feel they should be locked as they are going to be towards the bottom of the sea.
Yes, I agree with that. Lock it.
You are a robot. I have no idea what you're saying.
Yeah, domo
he said lock
arigato.
it.
Okay.
Lock.
Okay.
Yeah, but I
it is
agree.
locked.
But yeah.
All right. Next, we're going to move on to the Vedderlarkin. These are blue skin. Vedderlarkin strive for perfection above all else. They have a +2 to intelligence, +1 to wisdom. By absorbing oxygen through their skin, you can breathe underwater for up to 1 hour. Once you reach that limit, you cannot use it straight again until you finish a long rest. Tireless precision. You are proficient in one of the following skills of your choice: Arcana, History, Investigation, Medicine, Performance, Sleight of Hand. You are also proficient with one tool of your choice. Whenever you make the ability check with the chosen skill or tool, roll a d4 and add a number to the check's total. Excuse me. You have advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws. The only reason I put this as restricted because I didn't know what the hell, honestly. That's really the only reason I didn't, because I didn't even get a chance to even look at it until now. But that's the only reason I put it as restricted. I've never even heard of these things before. Any comments for the restriction, lock, anything like that?
Lizard folk.
We've already been over lizard folk, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm being dumb.
I'm saying for this particular race, anyone have any comments, concerns? Should it be locked? Should it not be locked? Should it be restricted? Should it not be restricted?
So I just realized something.
What's up?
Me and Rex are the only two lore masters on server. I just kind of noticed that, and I'm kind of aghast. Sorry.
We have more lore masters than that.
I had took a test.
I just went through the offline. We are the only two off. I just went to the offline section and counted. There is 2 lore masters that have access to meeting text.
I'm a lore master.
Okay, so then I counted offline to be clear. So I should have gone through online too. Apologies.
Peanut is also a lore master. And
He
yeah, I
just
hear
doesn't
you.
have lore master tag yet.
While we have everybody,
Apologies. I needed to go through the online too. I kind of panicked there. Sorry.
while we are going through all of this stuff, I would like to, as a last minute, submit Zendikar. Since everybody is here, there's only like 3 or 4 races. It is a Wizards of the Coast book.
You're gonna have to put it through, and we'll have to do an entire thing on it first.
Yeah, send it to through email.
Sorry.
No.
Anyway, anything for this? Should it be restricted? Should it stay? Should it be allowed?
I'm going to be honest.
Anyone have comments?
I don't have any particular feelings on this one, mainly because I zoned out. And I have no idea what we're talking about.
Me too. I kind of.
Me too.
All right, again.
I didn't hear nothing overly broken to where I immediately snapped my attention. So I mean,
there is that.
They have a +2 to intelligence, +1 to wisdom. They are blue skinned, so they're going to stand out a little bit. They are partially amphibious, so they can absorb. They can breathe underwater for 1 hour. Once they do it, they have to finish a long rest before doing it again. They have proficiency in a choice of Arcana, History, Investigation, Medicine, Performance, or Sleight of Hand. They also have proficiency in one tool of their choice. Whenever they make a ability check with those things, they add a d4 to it. They also have an advantage on all wisdom and charisma saving throws. Yeah.
Personally, that sounds a little potent for my taste, but again, I'm kind of hard on this stuff.
What was the D4 extra damage? What was that? I missed that.
No, it was an extra D4 on there.
It's a skill check. It's a certain skill check.
And shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's guidance. Big deal.
It's not super potent. Like, let me be clear about that. I just don't like races giving out stuff like that because it makes no sense.
Is that one for short rest or long rest or?
No, it's just period.
You just have guidance on those skill checks and tool checks.
Yep. So if they have an advantage in sleight of hand, they every time.
I mean, it's only a D4.
It's only a D4, but at the same time,
Imagine just maxing that and then becoming a rogue.
How many checks is it, Oldfire? Is it just one check or is it 2 or 3?
They can
Yeah,
do it unlimited time.
what checks?
All right, so there's Arcana, History, Investigation, Medicine, Performance, or Sleight of Hand. They can choose one.
Is it the choice of that?
Yes,
It's one.
they have
You
to
choose
choose
one.
one.
Once again, I'm gonna say there's such a thing called expertise.
All right, they can also be proficient with one tool of your choice.
This would make
So-
a nasty rogue that isn't a rogue, to be clear.
So I
They
don't
can
think
just
it's
take
too.
these tools
It's
and
not
sleight of
too
hand and
overly
fine.
powerful, but it's
It's not
definitely
overtly powerful, no. But RP wise, it could be really potent. I think.
So
He says
hold on.
the blue
That's my
Boards,
question.
boards. You're overviewing it. It's just 1d4.
Well, hold on now.
We'll
Okay, you pick
overrule
a
it
rogue,
every time.
give it
Hold on.
sleight of
hold on.
hand.
One person at a time.
Okay.
Gronk, go ahead.
Okay. You pick a rogue, you pick sleight of hand, give yourself expertise sleight of hand, and pick up guidance on your sub like your other class, and slap that on. It's a plus D8 plus expertise, and if you find a way to get advantage, fucking Steel Master.
Like I said,
He's
it's
got
very,
a point. It could create problems with
It's a
these.
build.
It is a build, but it
It is
could
a
create a problem among players, is my point. Okay.
If they go stealing
I
from other
mean,
players.
also,
Yeah.
it's very easy to see a blue man walking around and being like,
But
"Oh,
there's no
this
mechanical
features." And it's
downside
like
to that.
it's
Yes,
not.
There's also no.
Can't get away scot free.
one person at a time. Thank you.
Sorry.
But yeah, it's not a shape changer. It can't get away scot free.
Yes and no. I mean, it's going to be easier to see my RP wise, but there's no actual mechanic for it. So
If I roll a 30 on my sleight of hand check, I'm stealing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And what I'm worried about is players using this to steal from other players. Say the rogue does all the stuff that Gronk mentions, and he says, "Oh, that fighter's got a really cool sword. I'm just gonna take it." On a quest with a DM, and now the fighter's weaponless.
I also have to say, like, you also have to use common sense on that. If the fighter has it equipped on his side, and the fighter reaches for a sword, he's gonna know it's gone.
as a rogue, I'm going to say this
You
right
won't know
now.
where it went.
Sorry, say that again.
It is very, very to steal just about anything if played correctly.
Yes.
And that's without the build. With the build, think about how broken I could be when I go into a store and I decide, all right, I'm going to steal whatever I want from the store. Because sleight of hand.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It is very, very potent.
Yes, that I can agree with. But you can also, like,
There are other ways
also
to
have to understand, like, you have to have a deception as well, because you have to make sure you're not looking shady either. And rumors can go about being like, "Oh, there's a shady blue guy walking around and not buying nothing,"
Well, a rogue
and
picks
things
the bard,
disappear
you'll get
wherever he
advantage,
goes.
You'll get your guidance. You get more expertises, so you can slap it on deception or whatever.
It would be
So-
very, very
Guidance is
easy
important
to
thing.
misuse this. We'll put it that way. So,
Yeah.
with that in mind, I personally feel in some manner this is almost just as potent RP wise as probably the Changeling.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say no. I would say whether or not we lock it, it should be restricted because you could literally just get away with literally just about anything stealing wise.
I mean, you can
You
slap
put
that
up.
on.
All you would have to do is take first level rogue, take this is the race, and you have basically proficiency in sleight of hand, thieves' tools, and
Damn.
hold on, fucking deception, expertise in both deception and sleight of hand, and you get a D4 to sleight of hand, or sleight of hand. You're fucking gone. Like it doesn't matter what they roll, you're going to roll higher.
Yeah.
All right,
Take 2
so
levels in bard, more expertise,
Alright.
and
So,
Yeah.
Bardic
with
Inspiration.
that all being talked about now, should it be locked? Is this something we're going to see people walking around with on the street?
It's a blue man.
It's
a
blue man.
It's a blue guy,
but
pretty
it
much.
can breathe air. It doesn't live underwater.
It's
I
just a
feel
blue
like it
person.
There's
shouldn't
no
be
real
locked.
lore
You
reason
can
why it
find
would not
them.
be.
Because they sound like they're like a wanderer type thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say no, which is another reason to make it restricted. Because there's no more reason why you should be locked.
We have 2 more to go. We have Vernon and Yanti.
I also wanted to bring up one more thing. Sorry.
Yeah.
So you're saying that this campaign is going to be a more on the low end magic, right?
It's high. It's high magic, but lower end magic. So, we'll put it this way: most common people can do cantrips like prestidigitation. So but when it gets to like 3rd, 4th, 5th level spells, it's not going to be very often. You know,
I'm talking items, Oldfire, like item wise.
Common items are common. Uncommon items are like,
basically the best thing that this guy's going to be stealing is potions from stores.
Potions can make a difference, man. Potions can make a real difference.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also not going to be a super high-end potion. It's just going to be...
Well, maybe not.
No. I used to play Garrett. Garrett would not die. Because he had 50 small healing potions, and he would just down one at every opportunity.
And also, those potions, being the most expensive item in the shop, would be watched.
That's not always the case, and the players can argue it, and you know there's going to be that one player.
Anyway. Oh, yeah. All right. On to Vernon. Vernon owe their existence to chaos, doing their best to find their way in the unfamiliar world. They have a +1 to Constitution, +2 to Charisma. They have telepathic insight. Your mind is connected to the world around you and strengthens your will. You have advantage on all wisdom and charisma saving throws.
Elf.
Persuasive. Your people's lack of history makes you untrustworthy and humble. You have proficient... makes you trustworthy and humble, not untrustworthy. Sorry. They make you trustworthy and humble. You have proficiency in persuasion skill. Limited telepathy. You can telepathically speak with any creature you can see within 30 feet of you. You don't need to share a language with this creature for it to understand you. To understand your telepathy, but it must be able to understand at least one language. The process of communication is slow and limited, allowing you to transmit and receive only simple ideas and straightforward concepts. Black blood healing. Black blood is the sign of your people's connection to the which endures boosts your natural healing. When you roll 1 or 2 on any hit die you spend at the end of a short rest, you can re-roll the die and must use the new roll. I don't understand that one really.
It basically says you got lucky feat on re-rolling hit dies for short rests. In other words, you're trying to regenerate HP on short rest. You use your hit die.
It's kind of like Savage Attacker, but you have to use the second roll only regarding hit dice instead of weapon attacks. Does that make sense? So it's kind of like a feat.
It's basically like healing. It's a healing thing.
Yeah.
It's a durable feat.
It sounds like a boosted version of a halfling, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ish.
Well,
regarding hit
halfling still has nimble shit.
Yeah, that's true. It does have a lot of telepathy, I think.
Also, Ghostwise can actually speak telepathy instead of just simple ideas.
I know.
Not a big deal.
I don't think it's too overly powerful.
I don't either,
because I didn't really read it. So
I don't think it's 100% fair.
Apologies for the comparison, by the way. That was a poor comparison. I apologize.
Anyway, I would say that maybe it shouldn't be restricted, but maybe locked. Maybe.
I'd lock it. I wouldn't restrict it. It's not powerful, or
it's not overpowered. It's really, really fair.
It's not broken, but it's flavor. And if we're locking Kalashtar, we should lock this guy too, because psychic.
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, I don't know. It's not like super psychically fine. It's just more or less psychically resistant.
It's not broken. That's not what we're saying. For the flavor that it has.
The Warlock.
Yeah, the Warlock should be locked, not restricted.
Don't have it hang out with Kalastars.
Alright, last one is Yanti Pureblood. I have this just restricted because I've heard everyone get it. I didn't even get a chance
honestly, resistance to any poison damage, there are a lot of... There are a lot of...
+1 to intelligence. Poison immunity. You're immune to all poison damage and poison condition. You have advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. You know the poison spray cantrip. You can cast Animal Friendship an unlimited number of times with this trait, but you can only target snakes with it. Starting 3rd level, you can also cast Suggestion with this trait. you cast it, you cannot do so again until you finish a long rest. Charisma is your spell casting ability for these spells. You can see dim light 60 feet as if they were bright light, darkness as if it were dim light. You can not discern any colors, only shades of gray. You have base walking speed of 30 feet. Purebloods match the size of average human in its weight and size. Purebloods are devoid of emotion and see others as tools to manipulate. They care little for law or chaos and typically are neutral evil. Share the same as humans and have lifespans similar to the lengths of theirs.
So, before people say no to it, I did want to bring up, you have some things that are immune to charm as well here. And that's more common than poison.
I did not see Galaxy. I never even.
That might be my fault. I don't know if I've reviewed it or not. Roboting.
Domo arigato, Mr. Gronko. Whoever's deleting stuff, stop deleting shit.
Yeah, it's Ray at the moment.
Also, like I said before multiple times, if you have a comment question, please make sure you put an exclamation mark or a question mark so it can be addressed. Don't just type it in the meeting chat text, otherwise it's forgotten.
Yeah. I'm gonna mute Gronk until he gets better.
Yeah. So, okay, one sec. So
Here's official stuff. That's what he's saying.
Yuan-Ti Pureblood.
That's pure.
Poison is
anyway.
It's not common. It's situational, in my opinion. It's basically just like an elf, situational on the poison resistance, and that's all you get, really.
No, it's really not.
No, it's not.
You get stat bonus on top of that, plus you get a cantrip and everything else. I gotta say, it's gotta be restricted if
and then you get something that you can charm snakes with.
Yeah, but at the
so
same
you
time,
got poison spray, which is
poison damage, which means. Hold on, how many monsters actually do poison damage? Because there's a lot of them.
There's actually a decent amount of them.
There are. There's a few that use poison damage.
But they're also in situational areas. It's just like the Triton.
I would argue that quite.
I would say
monster counters in certain areas.
I would say that the Yuan-Ti Pureblood is a little stronger than Triton because of 3 reasons. First off, if you took a Yuan-Ti Pureblood and rogue and you specialized in poison, right? Meaning you could go out and pick any poison item like that without fear of ever getting hurt by it. That comes in handy a lot.
I mean, you got the mucus, crawler mucus, so
exactly.
You basically, because that says paralyzed on touch.
It is
immune to the poison condition,
but it's also something you'd have to work towards. Like it.
The point being that I think that in situations such as trying to maximize this, it is way too overpowered to have it in general pop. Considering most players try and maximize their character. Even for not maximizing it. That's what I'm thinking is restricting. As for not maximizing, who's just doing it just for shits and giggles, just to have an RP wise.
It's a shits and giggles character. Something we want to trust, like only people we trust to have, because we don't want random people being like Murder Hope and being like, oh, I'm gonna quickly grab this and then I'm just gonna kill everybody using poison and shit. Because there are people that find that fun, and we don't really want that happening.
I also think it should be locked.
Fire, did you look at the
document? I don't know about lock. I do agree with restricted.
One person at a time. Thanks. Real quick, Gronk, say something, and then Ray, you have a chance to speak.
Did you look at the PDF? I think I sent it to you. Monsters Races at the end is a breakdown. Yeah, Yuan-Ti has got a high build point scale, but so does Asamar. It's right up there with Yuan-Ti, just as strong.
Yes, I know.
Something to think about.
Yep. Ray, you had something to say.
Let me type it out because I'm gonna type it out first so I can structure my ideas, and then I'll go over it. So, just a moment.
I'll come back to you.
You might lock Yuan-Ti. You might want to do the same days. That's all I'm saying.
All right, Boars. What were you saying?
And apologies about cutting Gronk off earlier. I had him muted. I forgot to unmute. Either case, I was just saying with the poison resistance, immunity, because I'm sorry, that gets me real hard. I gotta say it's got to be restricted. I don't know if it's going to be locked or not. If it's going to be locked, I would say something early on that we, is easy access to because they're not that exotic. They're basically snake people.
Here's what my idea was for locked is I think they live in the desert side of it because
I can see that. I can see that.
The side where. Well, I was thinking desert because they'd probably be closer to where the Great Death was put into where the fuck it's at. You know what I mean? I could see them living in that desert area. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So once we encounter the Great Death, or at least it's tribes of people around it, we unlock it. That's fine by me. But it could definitely be a restricted race. Because poison
pure blood
comes into play a lot, especially in things like PvP.
They live with a bunch of other snake people too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
that would be somewhere else, probably.
All right, Sonic, you had something you wanted to say.
Basically, I want to say I would agree with restricting it, mainly because we don't want people randomly walking around and killing. However, also there's ways to get around poison, antidote, stuff like that. I mean, you could make an antidote that's basically universal. It removes the poison condition.
Yeah, but I'm sure making that would be kind of expensive RP wise.
I mean, you could also make it to where you carry the antidote. It's not expensive to make, but it takes time to make it. So you can't just be like, "Oh, I'm poisoned. I better go get an antidote ordered and then have it made." And nope, I'm dead now. No, that you have to have it on your person. That way, if one of these guys come up and decide to, I'm gonna kill you, poisoned, you have the antidote.
Grunk, you were saying that you think it's about as powerful as a Asamar. I would have to disagree if it doesn't. Even if it does have similar stats to it, I think that immunity to poison damage is just too powerful.
It is.
Like I said,
it is. It makes it a touch stronger than the Asamar.
Oh wait! Oldfire.
Yes.
Can you read that in technical? I'm looking word technicality. You said it's immune to poison damage.
You are immune to poison damage and the poisoned condition.
Okay. Both. So it is both.
Yes.
So poisons just have no effect.
Yep.
So yes, my stance stays on that. The poison damage thing, I'm not super worried about. It's the poison condition thing and using poisons.
Exactly.
With that. You basically
all right.
Yeah.
That I believe someone told me to go back up and look at GIF, right?
Low-key was because they get a gun apparently.
Let me go
GIF
back
or GIF?
And apparently Grung is now in here. I didn't even see Grung. That's new.
Grung.
I didn't even see that in here before. I don't know why.
Grung? Isn't that the frog people?
I guess. It wasn't in here before. It was not in here before, I swear.
If there is a race for it that is
there is.
I would love to play it.
There is, and it's not homebrew. I have homebrew turned off. It's not homebrew.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, if it's in a campaign and you're in it, you'll see it.
Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, for GIF, let's see. Mage hand. Your hand is when you cast this cantrip. Cast jump spell. 5th level, you can cast Misty Step. Okay. Proficient, light medium, first swords, one language of choice. Proficient with skill choice. Okay. Okay. So nothing else about a gun in that one.
GIF the space pirates or some other monkey?
I was speaking of the GIF, the hippo.
That's
no, wrong GIF. It's the Gith, as in Gith Yankee, Gith Zerai.
GITH.
I know. I was speaking of the GIF. Was the ones I was saying look back at.
I didn't even see that in here. I don't think it's in here.
It's not in there.
I thought we were just doing standard SRD.
It's in Mordenheimen's Tome of Foes.
As a race or a monster?
As a race.
And they don't get a gun.
Okay. News to me.
Alright, we're going to go over this.
I have the damn book. They don't get a gun.
Alright, your Grung character has an assortment of inborn abilities, part and parcel of Grung nature. They have +2 to dexterity, +1 to constitution. Water dependency. If you fail to immerse yourself in water at least 1 hour a day, you suffer at 1 level of exhaustion at the end of that day. You can also recover this from exhaustion through magic or by immersing yourself in an hour. That's not too bad. 30 bounce. Standing leap. Your long jump is up to 25 feet. Your high jump is up to 15 feet with or without a running start. Poisonous skin. Any creature that grapples you or otherwise comes in contact with your skin must succeed a DC 12 con save throw. Creature no longer in direct contact with you can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, and its effect on itself in succession. You can also apply poison to any piercing weapon as part of an attack with that weapon, though when you hit with the poison reacts differently. The target must succeed on a DC 12 con saving throw or take 2d4 poison damage.
That sounds so fun. I want to make
the immune to poison damage and the poison condition. Again, this guy is going to be a nasty rogue. Let's say restricted.
Not rogue. I mean,
well, it could be nasty rogue barbarian.
Yeah,
he would be a nasty barbarian, but it's only a DC 12.
Yeah.
Like
also,
it's
again,
just a for fun thing, and
again,
it's
also immune to poison.
They're not intelligent though. Like they would not make the best rogue.
Yeah, but again, it's also immune to poison condition and damage. So I think
it's also the same thing for the area that they belong in. They belong in the same area as the Yuan-Ti, which is jungle area.
I think that these guys should still be restricted though.
I would agree with that. Restricted and locked because you have to hit the certain area that they're in.
Yeah. Alright, and that is it for races. Finally.
Wait, I have the comment now.
Okay, go ahead.
Alright, so we restricted lizard folk, right?
I believe so. Let me double check.
Yeah.
Yes, lizard folk is restricted.
The monk is the only reason.
Well,
at low levels, but higher levels kind of balances out.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I would like to I would like to allow the lizard folk, honestly.
I'm fine with it too. It's only a temporary boost of
alright, so I can make my comment, right, or no?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright, I apologize for saying that it was a bit rude, but alright. So, if you guys have read what I put in, I think meeting text, I have a little synopsis of what would happen. Your standard damage per round, attacking goblin, lizard folk, or non-lizard folk monk. Basically, the 2d6, the d6 you get from your bite attack, it doesn't really affect anything else besides the goblin. About goblin, because you're gonna need your second unarmed attack to kill it anyways, on average. So it's just basically a more kill confirm. It basically confirms the kill more often than not. It doesn't really affect anything else on average. All I'm doing here is trying to point you guys to it. If you would take a moment to read it, that's my argument. I'm really tired, so I don't feel like reading it out.
Ray, though, you could flurry 4 bite attacks at level 1.
Yeah.
Or 2, or whatever.
It's 3.
You get 3. At level 3.
And you also have very little key points, so it's just
yeah.
I think that
4 attacks every round for what?
You don't get 4 attacks. You get 3 attacks.
If that's level 5, you're talking Grunk, and then they're equal.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see a problem with that.
I'm thinking like for lower level like this, not. But I was thinking like once they hit like level 6 or 7, they're gonna start ripping people apart.
That doesn't really matter. Because, like, the D6, monks get the D6 at level 5 anyways. Their unarmed strikes and monk weapons become a D6.
Yeah,
Oh,
everything
right.
becomes
I
an
forgot
easy
about that.
anyway because monk.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not overpowered. It's completely fine.
Yeah.
All right. So we think that it should be unrestricted then.
Like you can
Sorry, what's the
restrict it,
race? I
being that
wasn't
they
here.
come from like similar areas to the
still
frog
lock it.
people.
Yeah,
Unlock it, but not restricted. It should be open play once found.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It shouldn't be restricted for gameplay reasons. I think it should be restricted for lore reasons. That's the only way that makes sense. Because literally, I just gave up a whole synopsis about it, and it makes no sense to ban it for mechanics reasons at all.
All right.
I'm confused. Why did we bring it up
thinking.
again? I thought we had already
Because
decided on this.
he wanted to compile his thoughts before, so I told him to come back to it.
It's
Okay.
just really...
All right. Moving on. We got past the homebrew and the allowed stuff. On to the PC, Xbox games, etc. tab. I was thinking about taking that down and doing a general, just like talking chat and like a gamer chat. Maybe have 2 different voice chats for if you're playing 2 different games, but otherwise have just one voice chat.
I mean, you can always
If there's not as much in there.
I mean, nobody's in there really, and at the moment, you're gonna have what, 2? I mean, I've never seen 3 different games going.
Right.
All right.
And we have a lot of chance. We want to talk about that next. The cutting back the amount of shit.
You're really far away, Gronk. I can barely hear.
We want to talk about cutting back the amount of shit channels in the server. We don't need
I'm getting there. Don't worry. I'm getting there.
Fucking nightmare.
I'm getting there. All right. So I'm gonna leave on stream talking chat, and then I'm just gonna make a new voice chat that is just general chat. And if we need more than one, we can add it later. But I think we should go past 2.
You really don't. We don't need 100 voice chats on with Ray on this one. I mean, the text chats, or sorry, we don't need 100 text chats. The voice chats, yeah, a lot of them are just folders, and yeah.
Yeah, I've told Olfire like certain things that can help that. I think we're working on doing the World Anvil, right?
Yeah, I haven't quite gotten that.
Some stuff can be shifted there. Some stuff can be merged channels. We don't need so many separate channels. Some stuff can be done away with completely.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're working on it.
Okay.
I'll send you a screenshot of Osiris's server. It's fucking clean. Shit's tight.
All right. Next, I want to talk about the frequently asked question and what I have in there. As of now, what I have in there is how you can have 2 level characters on the server, right? You have to at least get to level 5 first, and then you can have two separate characters. However, they cannot be associated in any way, and you may not RP these characters at the same time. You can have 1 active character at a time, meaning like you can't have you and you in the same game.
I mean, that's fair, but I mean, RP?
Nope.
Yeah, I would say no to that too, because then you can have your characters colluding on something.
Yeah.
And that's not okay, because there's no... It's just... No. You don't need to get to RP with yourself. It makes no sense mechanically.
Now,
I mean, of course you're not going to want to RP with yourself, quote unquote, but I mean, what if, like, they're sisters and they hang out with each other a lot? Like, memes! The memes, guys!
If
you
want to have
with someone and someone pings you to RP with the different character, can you swap?
Yes, you can swap.
And then you gotta,
I thought we were talking about with the RP characters specifically RPing with each other.
Yeah. Yeah, you can swap and stuff like that. It's just you can't have RP specifically to each other.
RP with them.
Yeah, the 2 characters RPing with each other. That's what we're talking about.
Yes. Next, for every 8 hours of playtime, you'll receive 8 hours of downtime. Downtime can be used to learn tools and languages, build buildings, research, create mundane items, create magical items, or work a part-time job. I have already set up in the actual game channels a downtime log spot. So all you simply do, and it's going to be on you guys the people individually to keep track of their downtime. If that gets too chaotic and we can't trust people to keep track of their downtime, then we'll have to figure something else out.
I fucking hate downtime. I'm sorry.
I'm not a big fan of it either. However, I think it is important to have. This way, you can actually do stuff that you wouldn't normally be able to do.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna say.
Rogues have honest advantage in this because they don't need downtime to make money because their business is stealing. So the other types of characters should have some way of like making money on the side.
Yes, I wholly agree with that. However, making magical items, I would reserve to games, or stuff some other way where DM can be present.
Magic what?
Specifically, that's the only one I have a problem with. Everything else seems fine. Making magical items makes me nervous because there should be very clear and visible caps on what we can and cannot make. You shouldn't just, as the level 1, say, hey, I'm an artificer, I'm going to make that Staff of the Magi, and be okay with that. Like, no.
Can I talk?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I'm done.
We already have that. You have to go on quests to find the components and shit to make things, and we have restrictions on said.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear on that because, Staff of the Magi, first level, no.
I'm getting there, don't worry.
Okay, cool, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Next is 3. We use Mass Mercer's Fading Spirit rules when determining player character's resurrection. The base DC is going to be 18 for the first death. After each successful resurrection or fail, the DC increases by 1. Resurrection spell materials can be purchased on an as-need basis in the market and restocked a certain amount each week. If for some reason you need resurrection materials mid-mission, you can be assumed to have purchased it before you left, if you have the gold.
Assuming
you have the gold. Can you re-say that again? There's a resurrection DC?
Yes.
18.
At 18?
Yep.
And then it increases per level. Like you only
get 3 lives, no more.
Pretty much.
Possibly less.
I mean, more than likely they're gonna fail it. More than likely, like
that's the idea.
15.
Yeah,
I would allow.
You need to have purpose with resurrection.
We do not want a million clerics running around just rezzing people on a fly. Like, no, that's
yeah. I know. I agree with that. But I mean, like 18's kind of high. More than likely they're gonna fail because it's flat 20. It's a flat D20.
What are you guys reviewing?
Resurrection.
Now, the
other thing I will say is you might be able to sacrifice
one at a time. Hold on, Loki. Gronk is talking.
Sorry. Also, Dark Hollow decided to do away with the time limit or fuck with the time limit on resurrection because 100 years. But if we do this, we don't need to fuck with the spell at all. Go ahead, resurrect someone died 50 years ago. Chances are they're not coming back.
I just thought of something.
Hold on, Loki was next.
The other thing, I'll be a way to lower that if you can sacrifice a creature of equal CR to the character's level. It's just a thought.
Possibly.
That kind of bothers me on a few levels, mainly because
I like it. It's dark. I like it.
Here's the thing. I don't want people being able to say, "Oh, I'm just gonna die. You can res me right away." I don't like that. I like the idea of if you die, you're fucking dead. It's
not an easy thing. At a higher level, you have to go catch a CR 15 or CR 20 creature and use its soul to sacrifice.
Now, keep in mind that if you have a DC of 18, okay, and you resurrect and you fail, you can try again right away. But now it's 19.
But that still raises the DC to 19.
Exactly.
Can I propose a middle ground here?
The middle ground is that you're allowed to have resurrection.
No.
I wanted to bring something up on the DC because that's the only
I was going to suggest we lower the DC and we lower the D20 roll. So that lower rolls do not immediately punish the player. What I was going to say is you deduct 5 from the D20 for whatever reason. We can come up with a lower reason later. But you make the DC down by 3, so it's still just as challenging to resurrect someone, but the roll does not necessarily have to be as high. Because I've seen Avery seriously fuck some people.
Here's the compromise I could think of. Because if you guys think that's too high and too strong.
Trying to say it.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Sonic.
Okay, so here's the thing. We're wanting to allow resurrections, but we don't want them to resurrect over and over and over times.
Yes.
Here's the thing. You start the DC off as 5, and every single time they succeed, it increases by +5. If they fail, they are outright dead.
Here's what I was thinking. I could drop the DC down to 17. I could drop the DC down to 17. And I can, for each successful resurrection, increase the DC by 1. For fail, I will not increase the DC. But if they fail, they're dead. There's no retry.
Yeah, that's the problem I have, because I've seen a very fuck with people completely as well.
I'd be fine.
Yeah, I
can 10, 15, 20.
That's why I'm saying we're thinking about 3, right? Like a maximum 3.
Three to 4. So don't like the CR sacrifice idea?
No.
Hey,
So we're thinking of a maximum of 3. Am I correct?
Why don't you just give them 3 chances for each tier?
I mean,
if they
recommend
fail the
that.
resurrection the first time, they have to wait so many hours or so many days before they could try again. If they
Even then, I wouldn't like a guaranteed 3 lives. I don't particularly like that system because it gives this mentality of, I've got 2 lives left. I can go suicidally charge this mob.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I mean.
Well, no, I'm saying keep the DC spectrum. What I'm saying is, if they succeed, increase the DC. If they don't succeed, keep the DC.
We have a problem with that on a few levels. Also, I kind of like Sonic Light's idea where we started off at 5 and we raise it by 5.
Yeah, that's a guaranteed 1 life.
Chance of being
Possible,
saved.
and it gives them room
And
for
then it's
failure.
a
It's important.
1 at a time.
And
1
then
at a time.
25.
Sorry. Okay, can I go?
Go ahead.
Sorry.
You then
Okay,
Gronk,
so
then
I
Sonic.
like Sonic's idea about the DC 5 and then you raise it by 5. I like that because it works in both a average of 3 lives if you're lucky, and it doesn't immediately fuck the player if you fail. Like, if I'm understanding this correctly, Sonic, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm understanding this correctly, you raise it by 5, and if the DC goes up, you have 1 additional fuck up you have. It doesn't immediately screw you if you have whatever consistently low rolls is what I'm worried about. Because some players Avery just does not like.
I mean,
I don't know what it is with her programming, but legitimately, I've rolled 8 ones in a row on D20s. When I roll 40 20s at a time, I'll get 8, 10 ones in a row, and I do not want to deal with that.
I mean, also, boards, I agree with you on that. However, my thing was, once you fail, you're failed straight up. And I also don't want the thing, I want it lore-wise accurate to how souls work. The thing how this is, it's like, the soul has moved on, basically, after you failed. So it does not want to come back.
Okay.
All right,
I can
Gronk,
live
go
with
ahead.
that. But I still like the idea of DC 5 and raise it by 5.
All right.
With that,
Gronk.
but let's make it a 10.
Here's
10, 15, 20. If you get, you can come back, and then if you get lucky the second time, 15 or higher, you can come back, and then last one.
I'm more likely.
I can live with that.
I'm more likely to go with what Gronk was saying.
I'm going to make a vote here.
Hold on.
I'm fine with Gronks, too.
Let me speak real quick.
Let
me speak real quick.
put this on back
then you
burner.
I think
you
he's
can-
lagging. Hold on.
You can say your thing in a second. Let me speak real quick. I am more likely to go with the 10 than I am the 5. Absolutely. I would shoot down the 5 every fucking time. Because I don't want even the guarantee of having 1 extra life. I like the idea of, oh fuck, I just died. Now I gotta be a fucking character.
Have a resurrection. Like, do we want to let NPCs do this either?
Even still, once you get to higher level, you're gonna have people running around with the resurrection spell. I don't even like them having the ability to go, it's alright, I'll get you up. You know what I mean? Because if they don't die until that point, they still have 10. And they still have a chance of getting higher level. You know what I mean? I don't like that idea at all. I think that
Right.
Dark Hollow really fucked that up when it came down to the graveyard and the resurrection and all that shit. I think
let NPCs resurrect them. No, like you die, you die. There's a
the
clear
reason I put it so high, as a DC 18, is because I want 3/4, if not more than that, of the time people dying when they die.
Okay,
But then
so
that defeats
can
the purpose of resurrection
happening is
having
fine.
expensive as fuck gems.
But if you fail, you're dead. You can't.
Yeah,
resurrect.
I like that idea of DC 10, mainly because you are going to get the auto resurrection that people are going to be like, everyone on server wants this, and yes, they're going to have. It makes it a little bit more attainable, I guess.
It's
is
a
what I'm trying
chance
to
of
say.
failing, but a chance of passing. But if you do pass,
If you have it at if
My-
you have it at DC 18, the good chances you're just dead, and no one is going to even bother taking the spell.
Yes.
At that point, you have a useless mechanic, which is just dead weight at that point.
Yes.
The 10 is fair,
I'm
but
with.
also not fuck you either. And you might get one, but chances are you're gonna fail that second time. You won't be back a second time.
I'm with boards on that. My thing is, it's like I like to have the whole excitement, like luck thing as well. I, however, don't want to have a useless mechanic because you also have to think the resurrection spell costs like a diamond worth how much? How much is it? Like 5,000?
500.
All right, then how about
500
this?
gold?
Then how about
Alright,
this?
So
How about I put it to 10, like you guys are saying, but for each successful or failed, it goes up by 5.
yes,
No,
I agree with that.
Each
That's
success
what
goes up by
mine.
5, but if you fail, you're dead. Game over.
Yeah, and it's
Well,
if
yeah.
you fail, you dead. Like that's what
Dead.
my the
You
DC
make a new
5.
character,
But
the
if you
DC's
fail,
back to
you're
10.
dead.
You got it.
Yeah, I can live
And
with
then
that.
it goes to 10. If you fail, you're dead. No resurrection. And then 15. If you fail, you're dead. And then 20, which is extremely fucking lucky. If you fail, you're dead.
And I
That
should
way we
point
keep
out at
track
this
of
point,
anything
it should be.
besides if they resurrected.
Sorry, at this point, I should point out rerolls like halfling luck and shit like that should not
No.
apply to that.
Yeah,
You
nothing
get
applies
one
to
roll.
it. You'd get no proficiencies, no bonuses,
No bonuses.
nothing. It's a straight up D20.
Exactly.
Then and there, you roll it and you let it decide your fate.
Yeah, exactly. Because people are going to want that, but no.
Yes, because otherwise death's not permanent. Like Dark Hollow had a huge problem with this, and I like.
All right, so this is what I have. Base DC for death is 10, and each successful resurrection increases the DC by 5. You roll flat D20 with no influence from other outside sources. From other sources.
It's just flat D20, and that's basically the only wording you need.
Thank you, Bubba.
Flat D20.
On a fail, your spirit moves on to the other plane, be it God, the Warlock Patron, or wherever the fuck you're going.
Yeah, wherever the fuck you're going. Because yeah, I'm fine with the DC 10 to DC 15 to DC 20. I'm fine with that completely because it still
And
gives.
if we do allow
first
NPC
revive.
bullshit to revive or something like that, like if you die and no one has the resurrection spell, but you really want your character back, sure, you can sit on pause and not play another game until you can get someone to cast that spell on your spirit to bring you back. But as soon as you make a new character, you're sacrificing your ability to resurrect your old one, and it moves on.
Unless you have the second character thing. But I also wanted to, the whole thing is you don't want, well, oh god, my thoughts were just right there. You
Here's
don't
what I
want
have.
to
All right.
completely oust the thing that,
Here's what I have.
I like the whole thing of having 2 lives. However, here it is, this. So there are some encounters that are extremely fucking difficult and they are gonna kill the player. There is going to be a dead player.
When determining a player's character resurrection, the base DC for death is 10. Each successful resurrection increases the DC by 5. You will flat D20 with no influence from other sources. On a fail, your spirit moves. Resurrection spell materials can be purchased on an as-need basis. Yada 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 yada.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I like that.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that.
Yes, I see its butt shaking. My mother-in-law decided to buy my son a butt-twerking dinosaur for Valentine's. Anyway, going to 4. Crafting magical items can be made using downtime and expending resources. Magic item crafting takes 3 steps: research, the material acquisition, and crafting. If you have any issues with other player staff, DMs, or admins, you may file a complaint by messaging the owner or a mod. Please get screenshots of behavior and issues whenever possible to make resolving those issues as easy as possible, and notify a mod via PM of the submission. 6. Retirement. If you wish to play another character but do not want your current one just dying, they may retire. Becoming inactive and not being able to play again. You may roleplay as a retired character. Unretirement. Unretirement is allowed only once per account. Should the player choose to unretire a character, it keeps the EXP and level it had at the time of retirement. However, there are some drawbacks. Shaking off the rust. The character receives a temporary penalty that lasts 16 hours of gameplay. Keep track of the time in the downtime tab. A -4 to all attack rolls, saving and ability checks. This penalty reduces by 1 after the end of a long rest until it disappears.
Okay. Can I chime in here real quick?
Go ahead.
Okay, on the shaking out the rust bit, I would specify that players have to keep track of that and not DMs, because you don't want to be putting that on DMs.
Okay.
They have enough to deal with.
All right. Retire.
And I hate to backtrack, but I was muted earlier. What if someone wants to save their resurrection till later? They don't have the ability to resurrect, but they want to keep the character, but no one has a spell.
You can
wait a month and a half or however long it takes to get it, and play their other character in the meantime.
Yeah, exactly. You have a second character for a reason.
Then if they make it the character for the slot, then the soul's moved on. But if they want to save it, they could? Question mark.
You are able to have a second character if you make a third quote-unquote character. That soul that you are waiting to get resurrected moves on.
Right, but you could essentially limit yourself to your secondary character and wait the other one, wait in limbo until you can get yourself.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, players keep track of time and downtime tab. This penalty reduces by 1 at the end of a long rest until it disappears. When unretiring a character, the player must submit a character again, so there's no discrepancy in stats, feats, and alike. No character changes of any kind are allowed. They have the following limits applied. The character starts off with 50% of the gold they had when entering retirement. Items, EXP, GP do not transfer from current character to an unretired character. Please do not attempt to circumvent this through another player. The player then pings staff in the Westmarch characters to check and if approved, retire a current character. I fucked up how this is put out. The player then pings staff in the Westmark characters to check, and if approved, the retired character. Yeah, I fucked that up. All right, that's why I fucked it up. The retired character is no longer retired, unless you have 2 other characters, in which case you have to either retire another one or it has to be killed off somehow. Temporary retirement. Only available in certain specific limited instances. Should not be considered a regular thing. Temporary retirement is actually I'm going to put this in here.
Kind of like a leave of absence, as I understand it, correct?
Maternity leave. I got a cruise to go on. I'm going on vacation for like 3 months. I mean, you could just let it sit there idle and in the roster doing nothing. You don't really need the retirement if you're not going to be there to play it. You're not there to play it. Little redundant, but if you wish, you can have it. Either retire it or don't. I don't see a problem if it sits there for 3 months and the guy doesn't play a game because he's not around.
Anyway,
sometimes people just can't get on and play.
Yeah, respecting. If a player finds they do not like their current characters they are now, or if something happens which impairs the fun of that character, they may choose to respect. This, however, this server has 2 kinds of respec: the pre-5 respec and the emergency respec. The pre-5 respecs allows characters to respec if they are low tiers 1 through 4. They are allowed to change everything and keep the progress of the character. Their EXP inventory stays the same. This is only allowed once per character. The emergency respect is allowed once per player, so use it wisely. This respect allows you to keep your progress, but is allowed at any level. This will allow you to keep all your EXP, items, and other trinkets you have acquired on your journey. As said before, there's only once per account, so use it. Only use it if you have to absolutely. Oh my god, I cannot speak. Once per account, so use it when you absolutely have to.
Okay. So let's say I'm level 15. I get this sick ass magic item, but I can't use it because it's not my class or whatever. All right, emergency respec, changing my race, changing my class, changing my second class, and all my stats and abilities. I'm a whole new character now.
But only at 15, yeah. I would put some minor restrictions on it, like any race or like if you want to put like a race change, there has to be a reason for it. Essentially,
makes me think
that is the only real restriction I can think of. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, Remnant had a similar ability where you could respec once per account, and it was not really all that big a deal. Yeah.
How do you respect like everything about yourself? I get ability scores. I get like maybe one of your two classes, but both and your race and all your shit, everything, proficiencies. Like it's a lot. How do you even do that? I get retraining one or two proficiencies or swapping some skills out, or maybe even your subclass of your race. But like, I'm a wizard now. I'm a barbarian. The fuck?
I think I'm gonna put in here to nerf that a little bit. This also must
respec pending like review. Like, okay, what
must make sense via lore.
And yeah, and upon review or upon approval, like you want to respec? Okay, sure. What do you want to do? You want to do what? You want to do that and that? That's, how? Why? What? How do you?
How do you spell sense? SENCE sense.
CENTS or SENC.
CE sense.
SE. SENSE.
SENSE. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Sense.
All right. So I said this also must make sense via lore and must be by lore masters. All right. Is there anything else that we might want to put into the frequently asked questions? Anything that people have been asking, might ask that.
To campaigns?
A link to how to become a DM, maybe, if anyone's interested in that.
There's that, yeah. How to make a character sheet.
I have in the info. I have how to make a character. I have the links for the campaigns in that tab as well.
We also have how to become a DM in those.
Oh, yeah. We do? Okay, I didn't know about that. Sorry.
Yeah. The only reason why I haven't is because time and people not being on when I am available.
Do you become a DM?
You have to be approved by staff in a lore game or just play a game, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we want this guy."
Oh, okay. So just DM a game or two, and we'll be like, "Yeah, no,
yeah,
yeah."
Yep. So the Lore Master application, it's simple. It says, player who wants to obtain a Lore Master tag must do the following. Play games and practice until we give you the tag. Or you can apply for the tag by doing the following. Roll 1d20, which I'm not sure if it's anymore. But roll a 1d20 for players level, for the staff, right before your game, so on and so forth. I think I might just do practice games until we give you it.
Yeah, practice games, because that was kind of before the West March started.
Yeah.
Make a whatever character. Okay, this is weird. What's going on?
I also feel like if they're really good with lore, it doesn't have to be like they can be a DM, but just be really good at lore.
I mean, people can put toward ideas to lore masters, like, hey, what about this idea? What about that idea? Like, okay, cool, you're not a lore master, but I'm gonna take that idea and maybe.
Okay, now I know that another server is doing this, and I brought it up earlier. But we're looking at using money for the server. Paid respects was something that I have found in my searches throughout West Marches that I'm not necessarily against. Any thoughts?
Can you be a little more clear on what you mean?
At any point in time, if you wish to you can give a $10 fee to to go towards a D&D Beyond account.
Just
So that
give
way
$10
people,
to pay for it.
yes, you're using real money
I don't
to
like
go
it.
towards.
I don't like
Cough, cough.
anything other than real
Money grubbing assholes.
Right?
All
Pay
right,
to
so this is what I'm gonna say. As for that,
If we're wanting to go that route, I'm fine with it. I'm not going to quit the server because of it.
for those who want to donate to the server to help it grow and so on and so forth, I'm not going to do anything special for them besides maybe having I haven't even thought about this for a while, but
Level boost?
maybe having them have a role that they maybe might be able to help out with some lore, or they get like first dibs on games or something like that.
Just give them a role saying they're donator. That's props and nothing else.
I would hesitate on first dibs on games because if this gets big and games you're going to have people fighting over games, and that's going to come up.
Yep.
That's a good point.
I'm against any sort of paid.
I mean, we could also have give them access to like a special campaign, like to the lore campaign.
We could do that. If they
so
donate,
that they
get
can
their
run
own
in
special
the lore
campaign.
Okay, well,
lore campaign. What are you talking about?
Like staff games.
No, then it's pay to win.
No,
you shouldn't
no,
be able to pay
I'm
and
thinking.
Get anything from it.
This is what I'm
You
thinking.
donate,
If
you can donate.
Here's what I'm thinking: if they donate, okay, or they boost the server or whatever, then the possibility is they first off tag that says "Thank you for donating, good job." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and possibly when we get there eventually, possibly maybe having a second campaign that is specifically for those who donate, which means that
I don't know.
It's a special benefit. It's not to help their Westmarch character in that way. It's just a special benefit being like, hey, we'll give you this because you donated. Thank you. We sincerely appreciate your donation, and we will actually give you an additional thing that is fun if you wish to take it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it should just be donate if you wish. Thank you. At end of story. I don't want to put any sort of pay to win mechanics. Or
I mean, it's not pay to win. It's just a separate campaign.
Care. It's a
I get what Grove's saying.
No incentive.
He doesn't want an incentive for it.
Just if you want to, because you like the place, do it.
I'll get it.
You don't get anything from it.
I think we'll cross that bridge.
We're using D&D Beyond.
We can talk
D&D Beyond.
Yeah, we can get there later when we get to that. Going on with this,
if no one wants to donate.
I want to talk about sliving the server. Obviously, we've talked about getting rid of some of the shit, the extra shit, such as like the awesome things in PC and games and stuff like that. Is there, and I also want to deal with this at the same time with reorganizing. Is there someone, such as one of the admins, who wants to take up the job of reorganizing this so it's a little more neat and not as clutterfucked? If not, I'll do it myself, but
should probably be more than just one person.
Well, yeah, I don't mean like just
probably be more than just one person, and if it's a team, I am willing to do it.
Okay.
I can help.
Yeah, like I can help. I try. I can help anywhere where I can help, and I am very willing to help.
So that brings up the question: if people do start donating for whatever reason, what are we doing with the money? I'm sorry if we already covered that. I missed that.
We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, until people start giving money, we don't need to decide.
Yeah, there's no point in talking about shit.
There's places to put it too. There's Discord server itself. There's Beyond. There's always more shit on Beyond.
Oh yeah.
Campaigns for our own self, not just leeching off a Kubu.
The other thing I was thinking about, since bring that back up for one split second, that is not necessarily a pay to win type thing, but have it so that like for those who donate after the end of the month or something like that, when if we have any excess, whatever, we can either just keep it and save it for something new comes out, or we can have it into like a raffle that those who donate can do a raffle, and whoever wins gets whatever is left.
Osiris is doing something similar where he kind of wants to pay his DMs if there's any leftover money, and I was like, gross. No, you're gonna get.
Yeah.
That could get nasty.
We'll figure that out when.
Just keep it. You got excess. We'll need it later, I'm sure.
Yep. All right. With that being said, Gronk, Sonic, you both said that you'd work on help sending the server.
I've got time right now.
Yeah, I'm.
You should sit on it as the owner as well.
Yeah, I will. All right.
I mean, I've been working on it slowly. Whenever I like see something, and I'm like, oh yes, that needs done. Like I just recently made it to where, because we did this whole vote thing on whether or not what was it, one shots should be allowed in staff, and it's like a no, but they should be able to view the stuff.
Yeah, they can view, but they
I
can't
just
say anything about it.
reorganized it to where, all right, they're now below staff, and that's why Radisson couldn't speak without somebody allowing him.
Yeah, the position of the tags actually matters.
Yeah, it really, really matters.
Yeah.
And I've been messing with that and organizing, and trying to get the server like better in that organization thing. Just sometimes I just can't focus on it.
Then after this,
anything else?
After this, us three will sit down and work on this, I guess. Next,
what else we got?
The amount of meetings per month. I had 3 ideas. First off, like I said before, for admins, mods, lore masters, etc., it is on you guys to do meetings per week, per month, whatever. Okay. I would like to have a meeting that is similar to like everyone staff meeting, at least once a month, if not possibly every other week even. I want to know ideas and feelings on that.
It makes sense. Open forum kind of thing, like we tried in Dark Hollow, but just sort of like, monthly sort of questions, concerns, comments, like a fax. But some people can't type.
Yeah.
And some people had issues, and I don't want to, And sometimes it goes to PMs, but sometimes people put it on the open too.
Exactly.
I'd rather have it out in the open, unless it should be private.
Yeah.
I mean, some people will, but some people won't.
I also want this so that we can stay on track at the top of doing something.
Yeah, well, yeah, that too. We don't stagnate, and like, what are we doing? What's next? And people see that we're doing work.
Yeah. So, do we want this to be like a monthly thing, and a week, and every week? What are we thinking?
Every
at
week.
most bi-weekly, but I think monthly would be the best bet. Personally,
We could do monthly, and if needed, like if people like, we could really use a meeting or there's a cry, but we can keep it to a time limit.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do every other week, but once a month, one of the 2 weeks, bi-weekly, would be like the proper meeting where we all talk, and the other one would be like, just open it up. Like, you guys got questions? Nothing? Nobody? Nothing? All right, fuck, it was like 10 minute long. All right, we got nothing.
All right, so I have a thing in 2 weeks. This way I can have everyone's opinion.
So like an alternating facts and sort of newsletter. The other one could be like a monthly server newsletter. This is what we're working on. We're doing this, and like, oh, what if we had this? Like, hey, that's not bad. We'll squeeze it. We can squeeze doing that in as well. And like, admins are doing this, mods, just a weekly or a monthly update. Let people know that we're actually doing shit, not just we run games and we do nothing.
Sonic only gives a thumb up with no one.
Huh?
Don't be extra. So don't be extra.
No,
only give a thumbs up.
I'm extra against the other ones because my wife will literally kill me.
Huh?
Quote unquote.
Oh. Once a month.
Yeah.
I mean, you do need at least an up there. I'm fine with moth. Once a month.
Once a month. All right.
For that, there should still be
why I did thumbs down on the other dual fire.
The department or whatever things, and just be like, have a meeting once a month or something. And be like, okay, admins are meeting. I don't need to do anything about it.
I mean, it could also be whatever works for each per people. Like, if
that's a fluid thing.
One that's once a month, that's fine.
Yeah, as long as they're meeting, you're basically
just that's fine.
Yeah, Fire can be like, hey, at least meet once a month. You meet more than that, fine. And he'd just be like, yeah, they're meeting. Okay, they're doing stuff. Just read the notes or something.
Speaking of that brought up another idea of mine. Because it would bring a little more structure to this as well. Okay. There have been individuals who stepped up and have shown that they really care about the server and helping me build it. I would like to give them thanks, first off. Second off, I would also like to put this into place. I would like to add a role per thing, per staff role, such as admin, mods, lore masters, and they will be the supervisors, if you would, of the rest of them. So like, for instance, Peanut, Boars, and Sonic, you three have stepped up significantly, and I've seen you guys on the most of respected staff, and have helped me severely so far with this. I would like, if you're willing, for you three to each be the people in charge of the other ones. So like Peanut, you'd be the head moderator, or you'd be the head lore master, Sonic, you'd be the head admin.
I would not have a problem with that normally, though I kind of hesitate to accept the role because I tend to ghost every now and again, and I'll disappear for 3 or 4 months at a time, so I don't know if that's a good fit for me.
Well, even if that was to happen, as long as you give me a heads up beforehand, that'd be fine.
And you could have a second, and you could, unless a boss and more just corralling everyone,
Exactly.
and like, hey, stay on task, guys. So like, speak one at a time. Like, no different, no fires, poking and prodding us in the right direction.
Exactly.
It's more or less a thing of like a single brain organizing.
Mm-hmm.
It's completely and utterly organized.
You're not forcing it down a path, but you're keeping.
Yeah, you're not forcing it down a path. You're just make sure it's organized and on track.
Efficient.
I am also trying my best to loosen the reins a little bit for myself, being as I feel like I have to do everything. I'm trying to stop myself from doing that and trusting other people. Which is what this is also doing.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to get it so that I don't have to. I have.
Well, we want to balance between Osiris's tyrancy and Dark Hollow's fucking democracy, which was too loose, too
democracy. You mean just chaotic tribal bullshit?
Democracy.
No, anyway, it's not even organized. It's just chaotic tribal bullshit.
What you guys would be responsible for is like getting the other moderators together to have a meeting, having the notes passed on so that you know what you guys talked about in that meeting, and just making sure people are doing what they need to do. That's pretty much it.
Communication.
Exactly.
The heads could talk to each other easier than it would be like all command. It's a reason. It's there for a reason. It's the reason structure's in place like that because it works.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like I am greatly appreciative that like I'm kind of respected. Like that's actually like that not hurt me, but like that hits home. I thank you, and I will accept it. I'll try my best, like I do.
Like I said, if something happens where you guys need whatever, just let me.
Like my wife yells at me.
That's fine. That's fine. Believe me, I understand that all too.
Yeah, my wife yells at me, and then somebody else yells at me, being like, "Hey, I want you to help me."
But just give me the heads up beforehand. That's all I ask. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then obviously, as we already have been closely with you guys have reports to give me. Whatever you have something to ask me, want to pass on, just go ahead. It's like having a superintendent. You know what I mean? And then under them, and then under them, and so on and so forth. All right, I will do that for after this when we go over the organization of the server. Changes to the rules. If you go into the rules, because of the fact that we are getting rid of the NSFW in this, the rules to be changed as well, slightly at least. This is what we have as of now. General rules. The community is rated M for mature audiences and potentially contain foul languages, graphic violence, graphic sexual activity, or any combination of these elements. By choosing to enter this community, you are affirming under the oath and penalties of President to Title 28 U.S.C. subsection 1746 and other applicable statutes and laws that you are 17 years of age or above. 1. Always be respectful. We work hard to keep this community fun and free of negativity. Please do your part in respecting others and encouraging them to greatness. This includes raising your voice in arguments. There may be people on the server who come from different backgrounds and worldviews, and all must be respected. If you have to ask if a certain behavior is acceptable, likely it isn't. 2. No advertisements or spams. I think we should change that, seeing as we will be having a self-advertising spot. I want to change it from the server does not allow advertising or spam of any kind for a reason. I think we should change that to any advertisements you have must be put in the appropriate channels. Not following this could result in I don't know, some type of disciplinary action or some shit like that.
It also says this may change in the future, so
Yes,
they could ask,
that.
seeing that there is advertisements, because we could still be like no advertisements or spam, being like, okay, we don't want this in our general chat.
Yeah. Next, try not to tag an entire role. If you have questions, please ask in Badlands, which I need to change that from that to regular general. The staff or DM tend to be active enough to answer questions pretty quickly. Rules can be amended. Or discourage topics. The server is rated M for the following topics are allowed in-game. However, due to sensitive nature or the legality of them, we discourage talking about them at game. Sexual harassment, racism, hate speech, rape and other non-consensual acts, child abuse, and pedophilia, pornography, role-playing, suicide, cutting, or other self-harm actions. People deal with this in real life and not want to deal with it here. While some of these topics may be brought up in game, such as prejudice for race that are typically evil, self-harm due to class mechanics, or suicide due to harsh RP, it is important to separate the game from real-life topics. If you have any questions, please ask a mod, admin, or myself for clarification. FYI, this is your warning. 5. No metagaming. Not being a dick means you reveal more knowledge out of a character than the character does. Do not abuse that privilege. 6. In a session, the dungeon master or game master has final say. If you have a problem with the rule, bring it up afterwards respectfully. You can also have other DMs in their opinions. However, there's no guarantee of revising the rule. With that, is there any rules that we have left out? Any that we need to add in or change besides the advertisements?
I feel that the other ones, they're completely fine. They still embody what we're looking for, and the whole thing of it being rated M for mature and trying not like the shit, the discouraged topics. That is completely fair. Should not be changed, even though we're removing NSW. So that's fine. Other than some people would rather role play in that kind of in certain areas, we should allow them in a certain area. Like where this is like this area is where you do that, and like give a role or something out for people who are okay with that kind of role play. However, it applies to all of it. So be warned, you're gonna see all of it. There's not gonna be no special thing of well, this is outlawed and this one's not.
Yeah,
it's all of it in this one chat for roleplay. It's like make it like hardcore roleplay or whatever, like chat. You know?
Okay, so you're thinking that it's fine how it is, but we should have a RP for shit.
For people who want to roleplay and are okay with playing in that way.
Okay.
And keep it out of eyes from the ones who don't want to see that.
All right. So the last thing I have on the ledger for today...
Those who get butt hurt easily should not go in.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we kind of have something like that kind of set up in place already, but not. So it'll be an easy way to fix it.
It's just an idea. I was just throwing it out.
Mm-hmm. It's a good idea. Last thing I have on the lodger for today. We are very, very, very close to being as done with shit as we can be, as it comes for stuff like that. I would like to propose that we have a soft open. Try and get maybe like 3 players per DM in the server so we can actually start doing stuff. I think that we are ready to do that. I think we are ready to do that. I think maybe not this month, but maybe the start of next month or even the month after that, we should be able to have at least a soft open. Any thoughts?
3 players per DM. So you're saying however many 3 players per, but they don't have to. They're not specifically under that DM, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. I mean, I have a couple of buddies that might be interested. You remember Milo?
Mm-hmm. I was just saying that number because I don't. We want more than that at the moment for a soft open.
Yeah, and I mean, I have a couple people that I trust. Like they'll probably play. They like playing.
Boars. Seeing as you will be the one in charge of the.
Yeah.
There is in the info tab the staff name and roles. Those are all now, not including myself. I would, if possible, because I know Rexna is kind of halfway, and same with Thorn. They've been kind of AFK for a while. I would like to see if you can get the Lore Masters together, and we can do a game, so that I can do the first game of everyone in the Lore Masters who have not done it yet, so that I can show how I want it to be done, kind of. This way we can, for the new guys coming in, we can get it going and start things flowing. You know what I mean? Welcome back, SEO. If that's possible, let me know then.
Hold up, guys. I needed to see for a moment. I need to deal with this. There is 3 conversations going on right now with me, and I need to deal with at least one of them because I can't hear everybody.
Okay.
I'll be back in a moment.
Okay.
So, on that note, Oldfire, what are you thinking of spam to? Basically change it to where we don't want it. And
what, you mean the rules?
Before?
I'm confused. You're cutting out. What's up?
I'm sorry. The no advertisements or spam rule. You want it changed to no advertisements in general chat. Please, if you wish to advertise, ask a staff member.
Yes. I like that.
Alright, this server
For any reason
doesn't allow.
I'm already editing it right now. So the server does not allow advertisement or spams of any kind in general chat. For any reason, if you feel need to advertise something, please get of a staff member. There we go. I like that.
Alcio says he can rearrange the channels and categories. He can do the next few days by rearranging. He means removing stuff, fusing things together and shit. Use Atuja Sonic. It can't stop it automatically. I don't know what he means. What exactly he's saying. It can't. It can stop it automatically. Okay. I don't know what he's stopping. But apparently.
Stop what?
I don't know. You guys are talking about
spam advertisements. You're talking about spam and
Oh, it'll catch and flag
automatically
stuff.
stops spam, and I can make it to where if people try to advertise, it also nails them, except for
It will flag it. I got kicked from a server for advertising my server because I didn't read the rules, and it happened automatically.
Yeah, is it the one I think about?
Yes.
All right, so you need to adjust that with a Tuesday then.
Yes, that's what I'm doing right now. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, that's fine. Excuse me. That's fine, LCO. I know after we're done this meeting real quick, me and Sonic are gonna start doing it too. So.
And I'm updating Gatekeeper. There we go. Now for advertisements moderation. Auto moderation, I think it is. Anti-spam. It removes spam and mutes the spamming user.
All right. Is there any questions, comments, concerns about the soft open?
Server links, there we go, and they applies a strike and select an action, mute.
Well, yeah, it's not going to be until probably the start of next month or the month after. So
I
we'll
got
have
like 3 messages of the same before it's counted spam, and it will mute you. Different messages, 10.
We'll have roughly 2 to 6 before the server has a soft open.
Oh, wait. Please select the role for a tutor to use as the bypass role. Bypass role is gonna be straight up the staff.
Yeah. Staff can bypass it.
Yeah, staff can bypass it.
All right. If there's no questions, comments, open, then that is everything I have written down. Radisson is streaming all. It will be available for any staff member who attend if anyone asks.
All right, and then ignored channels. The one is gonna be like the. All right, spam is gonna be one of them. Oh.
Yep. And then I gotta make the thing real quick. Give me 1 second. Create category. Shameless, not selfless. Shameless self promotion. Up here. By info. And then I'm going to do Sisters Discord in it. Alright, that should be good.
Yeah, I'm only gonna be like ignored channels or gonna be bot channels where you doing a single thing over and over again, or maybe spammy messages, quote unquote. And it's basically those have to be moderated by our actual moderators for the most part.
Yep. All right. That is the end of the meeting. I will have Radisson send the link to the video, and I will post it in the staff general and pin it. Wrong button. Besides that, I say let's start cleaning shit.
land in D&D Beyond, and we wouldn't have to spend a goddamn dime. It just take time and effort. We have the PDFs.
It's materials.
That's true.
It's monsters.
Well, I can do that too.
I got that too. There's an app,
everything.
literally free app that gives you every fucking monster.
I can stick it into D&D Beyond. Is what I'm saying, for free. We wouldn't have to spend a dime. It just takes time and effort.